Hey guys, we're gonna go in a minute. Just check that the clocks are all right.
Turn my struggles into strengths. Always answer those calls. All gas, no brakes. All work, no play. All night, all day. I'm moving too legit. All gas, no brakes. All work, no play. All night, all
okay, really set.
I could never quit. I still get my all to life, nothing less. Started at the bottom, had some problems, still had no regrets. Sitting at the top, you didn't notice yet. Moving around in silence, try to hide it till it's obvious. I don't like to talk about none till it's said and done. I don't really like to have fun like what you think is fun. I just really like what I like, and that's all I know. I was on a strike for my life, it's the rodeo. Games lost and had some games won. Too long as I'm shooting 50-50, I'ma make my way through. Don't play around unless I'm playing around too. Only one shot for it all in life, it ain't no round two. All gas, no brakes. All work, no play. All night, all day. I'm moving too legit. All gas, no brakes. All work, no play. All night, all day. I could never quit. I still get my all to life, nothing less.
Almost neck and neck. And next to them you've got Maria, who's on her first time lift to 8 strip ups on a 2 to 8 kilograms bar. So again, she's a first time lifter, quite a strong lifter coming from a powerlifting background. Once she gets the double dip a bit smoother, it's going to be a much better lift for her. I think biathlon's going to be a very good lift for this lifter going into it. It's a little bit of first time nerves coming into this, even though a lot of lifters here have done much bigger sets and bigger competitions in the day, like Amy and Jenny Whitcomb. If you remember back when they first did their first lifts, they were all having those bit of jitters, all having those bit of nerves. And it might settle down sort of minute 3, minute 4 into the set before the lactic acid kicks in. But Jenny Whitcomb is looking nice and strong here, edging out a 1-point lead over Brad. It's going to be a good little first matchup to watch, as over the 10-minute sets you can kind of see how these can become quite close on a rep-for-rep basis. Not factoring in coefficients of the body weight here, just literally going rep-for-rep on the belt. And the last platform, you've got Amy Crump. Amy Crump, who's getting ready for another attempt at doing World Games in the 2025-2026 season. So this is her on a 26 kilogram belt, just on an IKMF World Games jerk set. She's got a nice mobility there, nice overhead fixation, coming in just about to break it at 30 reps in 2 minutes, which is giving her pretty much 15 reps a minute, and that's a flying start for her there. Yep, she's done it. 30 reps in 2 minutes, 15 reps a minute on a 26 kilogram belt. That's some Johnny Skinner pace you've got going there, Amy. But you've got another 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go, so it may be a case that she's gone a little bit too quick here. Maria looking pretty good, just a little bit of trouble with that overhead fixation there, just those triceps starting to be a factor. There's a few things she's got to iron out, but on the whole base of it, so far, it's a great starting set. And some of the lifters are still coming in here getting prepped to go. We've got a nice little crowd going here. Weather's looking like it might hold out. Got to keep our fingers crossed on that one because we've got a lot of lifting to go here. And Brad's just starting to need to rest overhead that little bit longer. He's worked really hard on the reclaims, and again, first time jitters, first time nerves. What he's done really well is he's not come out too quick. Coming in at 20 reps now with Jenny at 23. I had this conversation with him, just saying don't go out to belt too quick, which a lot of first time lifters will do this, particularly on a double set where you're worried about the lactic acid in the forearms. You think, I'm not going to be able to handle the 10 minutes, so they just kind of go out the gate fast and get as many reps as they can, but in the long run it's not a viable tactic. So we're coming in now to the 4-minute mark, and Jenny Whitcomb looking nice and calm here at 26 reps, really collective, good reclaims, looking comfortable in the rack, nice few breaths, and then just very confident. Second dip, fixate, still bells, good job, good lifting. Amy still picking up a bit of a pace here at 45 reps coming up to the 4-minute mark, so I'm hoping she's not just gone too quick, got carried away, because all of a sudden now it's just starting to get that 4-minute mark, and you're starting to see in her face it's just starting to become a bad place to be. If she stayed out at sort of 10-12 minutes the first 2 minutes, she might not be in this position, but we're going to see if she can grit herself through the next 6 minutes. But for her target, she's on. Coming in now for this would be her 50th rep, so she's well on pace to break 100 if she can pull it out the bag in the next 5 minutes. Outside of that, Jenny Whitcomb's quite comfortably pulling away here at 34 to 28, coming into 29. So she's got about a 7-rep lead coming into the halfway mark, which is kind of what you can think for just how experienced the lifter Jenny is here. And sometimes you might look at these two people side to side and think that the amount of muscle that Brad has might actually make it a much easier job for him, but he's got to move all that muscle as well as 24 kilograms worth of combined bell weight. And as it starts to burn, as it starts to hurt, the fitness element, the experience element, the skill, the breathing pattern, all works in Jenny's favor. So it's a really controlled set by Jenny so far. We're halfway now, so she's coming in just shy of 40 reps. They binged it just in time here. So if she can match this up, you're going for an 80 rep performance by Jenny, which really is something good. And Brad at 32, for a first time lifter, he's really putting the numbers up here. He's done a great job. Great job breathing overhead, great job not going too quick. And Amy's just starting to hit that wall now, and I hate to say it, but I think 15 reps a minute for the first 2 minutes just wasn't the best idea. A bit of excitement coming in there, a little bit of feeling ready and pumped and ready to go. It's going to start to really affect her for the next 2 minutes before that ending adrenaline kicks in. But she's still shifting some reps here. She's coming in at 61 now, so even though she's slowed down, she's in a very good position to break 100, which would be a huge PB for her. She's not far off her PB as it is. And Maria going at 75 reps, quietly and confidently, just under the radar, just taking a great first time set here. The fixation's still looking good. It's a little quick over top, but it's a really confident set for her here now, coming in at close to 80 reps with 4 minutes to go, just under. Still got a little smile on her face. I like to see the judge just let her know just to keep those bells overhead a little bit longer. Just make sure those arms are a little bit straighter. You are going to get a couple of favors for your first time lift, obviously, but it's still good lifting by all four. And Jenny now starting to pull away, coming in at 51 now, and Brad coming at 40 there. So there's about 11 to 12 points between them here, 11 to 12 reps between them here. And Brad's doing a great job now coming up to the 3-minute mode. Normally they can hear me shouting, but the rest of the team's going to have to do the job today, because I'm going to be here all day letting you guys know rep for rep what's going on. And Amy is getting all the will in the world to battle through here. This will be rep number 70 for her as it goes up. So she's got 30 reps to get. If she can get 10 a minute for 3 minutes, and she knows she's near it. If she can hit this 10 a minute mark, she's going to break 100 for the first time, and that's putting her in a great position for qualifiers next year for IKMF in America. She only needs to go 2 kg heavier for a 28 kg bell. So this really is a great lift by her. Not far off her PB already, and we've still got 2.5 minutes to get in there. So the link's already been shared through the WolfPack Facebook group. I'm going to share it again for you guys. There's a couple of other lifters that have shared this, but we really want to get people watching the score system, particularly when we get some of the closer battles going later on in the day. But right now, Brad and Jenny are having a great set here. Jenny's just keeping him at bay at about 13 rep lead, and Maria's going to break 100 here. She's on 92 already with 2 minutes left to go. So we're going to get a double digit one here. We're going to get into that 100 mark. And Amy Crump giving it everything she's got. She's got 25 reps or 23 reps to get, and just inside 2 minutes. So the question here, if you're watching these next 2 minutes to make it exciting for you guys, is Amy going to get to 100 reps? Jenny Whitcomb's going to hold off Brad for this one. She's going to be able to just kind of coast it in and get to about 70-75 reps here. Amy has got 21 reps to hit, but time's just going to slip away. It's going to have to be a really epic show to kind of finish it off here for her. 90-second mark. She's going to come just shy, but what a lift, what a set. It's certainly a PB, and it puts her in a great position. She's got another 2 or 3 training cycles before she has to qualify for this. And now you get that little momentum kicking in, you get that little bit of adrenaline saying to these lifters now as you get to the final minute mark. And it's going to keep Brad powering through here. He's done a great job lasting 10 minutes. In training, as a matter of fact, it's only last week he did a 10-minute set as a test at the end of the cycle on 212s. We weren't counting reps, but he was looking in a much worse place than he is today as he's coming up to it. Adrenaline of the competition, he's really handled the moment well. You've got to give it to him. but calm and confident as ever. Jenny is definitely going to see this one through to the end. 45 seconds left. Jenny's going to come in around 76, 77. Maria's broken that 100 mark on 108, and Amy now has to set her sights on breaking 90. She's at 86, and it really, you think with 30 seconds left you can just pump it and go, but every muscle in your body's now aching. Your arms, your shoulders, your quads. It's so hard to breathe with that weight on your chest as well. So 20 seconds are coming in, and we are left at 88. So this becomes a question: can she get to 90? 89. One more rep to do it with 15 seconds. She's done it, and now you want one for exclamation to break into 91. And she's got it. 91 reps for Amy. Maria's coming in at 120. Jenny Whitcomb 77. And Brad's finishing in at 61. What a great job. What a first one to end it on. Great first time lifts by Brad and by Maria. Amy looking in a great position there for her training to get to America. And Jenny just calm as ever, just coasting it through. And we'll take a quick little radio silence as we go through for the next set in 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm back on. Okay, so next up we have got Aaron Moulton and Bev. So these are both 10-minute sets starting in 5. See if their pen attention switched and ready to go, and we are off. Now, Aaron Moulton is training again for development for IKMF World Games. So Aaron is on a 10-minute long cycle on a 32-kilogram bell. Bev is doing one arm GS long cycle. So Bev's going to get one hand change during the whole set. However, just to make it more interesting, Bev managed to severely break in multiple places 2 of her fingers, which is why it's taped up in a netball game. Still, by the way, has been going to her jiu-jitsu classes. So she is quite a definite badass, but she is more than likely going to do everything she can do on her right arm. And instead of the hand change, we've talked about her just putting the bell down, she's going to actually have to have these fingers operated on in the next few weeks to get them rebroken, reset properly, and then be allowed to heal before we're happy letting her lift on that left arm. So she should be, in theory, trying to get up to 5 to 6 minutes on the right arm and then putting the bell down. Now, Aaron is trying to break in here. This is the end of the 3 training cycles that started up on the 24-kilogram bell for 10 minutes. If you've been watching Aaron on social media, you'll have seen how much effort he's been putting in and how much he likes to get up down those heavy bells. So his ideal goal is to be able to qualify for the IKMF in America on World Games long cycle with a 40-kilogram bell, which would put him in the same platform, on the same lift that I do, which it really makes it a good fit for me to coach. It's been an absolute pleasure coaching this guy through it. He's got a really good work ethic in training. He's really fit into the group really well. He's really putting the effort in the gym and the weights and conditioning, putting the effort in his cardio and his rowing programs. So his progress from someone who really couldn't lift 16 kilograms sort of like 6-7 months ago is absolutely phenomenal. And he's coming in here at 18 reps and in a short space of time here, because we are coming up to 2 minutes in, so he's pretty much just under 10 a minute, and he's not going to be able to maintain that for another 8 minutes. I know what's going to happen 4 or 5 minutes in. Again, one thing we talked about, Brad, is the amount of volume of this guy's body, the amount of size that he's got to lift. His arm weighs so much as well. Not only has he got to lift the bell, but he's got to move that frame as well as moving the bell. And when you're up against a completely different physique here as Bev, you can see that it's so much more movement that Bev needs to move with the whole body, but she's got so much less to move that it takes less energy to do it. So it isn't always a case that the bigger you are, the easier it is to lift here. Coming into 2.5 minutes into the first chunk here, and his pace is still going good. He's at 25 reps. One thing we talk about with Aaron is he finds it really difficult to breathe with that kettlebell on his chest. A lot of the bigger lifters say the same thing. Alex Lee says this on his 24s, on his doubles, and I think Chris Giles talked about it as well, talking about how it's actually easier to breathe with the bell overhead and fixation. So one thing that's going to happen with Aaron when he needs to rest, he's going to have a couple of breaths there just to pace it at the top here. Now, I find this really hard myself because I don't have the frame and the muscle and the strength to do that. So the longer the bell's overhead for me, the more it starts to struggle. But for Aaron, it's a real good tactic for him. So as this set goes on for longer, he is going to try and rest more and more overhead. And you're going to see him just starting to do it now. He just gets those few breaths, and as the bell comes down to his chest, he won't hang around. He'll get it back up, stop for fixation, get a breath to get ready, and then that becomes his rest. And you can see the structure as it's in a good mobility and a good lockout. It's a really good way for him to do this. Even at the 40-kilogram bell, he still finds it easier to rest overhead. Coming up to 4 minutes now, and on a reps check, Aaron is doing good here, and Bev coming in at 46 reps, going to the 4-minute mark. It's just going to start to be that burn as she starts to re-clean the bell. Bev, another first-time lifter. She's a really competitive lifter, and she really, in training again, she's really fit into the team with her work ethic. And one thing that you're going to find with this injury is normally around this time you're thinking, I can change hands soon, but Bev's going to really have to just carry on with this. I'm going to be pretty annoyed if she does change hands, because it looks like she's thinking about it, but we've talked about this in training and I have told her not to do it. So I'm hoping she's going to get to the end of this minute, work out if she wants to try another minute on the right arm and then put the bell down. It's just a tactic we've talked about after surgery. I'm sure we'll see her come back here after the rehab, and that left hand will be ready to rock, and it'll be a case of just cracking on with it and getting into her next competition. But for now, she's going to be at every rep counts mode before the inevitable happens here. 15 seconds before the halfway mark, and Aaron's reps just started to slow down here. So he's coming in now at about 40 reps for the 5 minutes. So if he has another good 5 minutes, he'll get close to that 80 rep mark, which would be around where we planned for in training. Therefore, now every rep counts as we break half. And again, just how many reps can she do before she puts the bell down?
Malcolm, come on, Beth. It's been over 5 minutes. Malcolm, Beth.
So every rep's now a bonus for her. A little smile on her face as she knows she's hit her target. I just know there's certain people that you know when you're coaching them and you know what the mentality they have is. I know she's going to keep going until she really can't do another rep. So Gaynor might have to watch out here, judging, because that bell might go flying as her grip starts to go. And Aaron's having a good job here breaking the 40 rep mark, but with Aaron now, this is where the cardio starts to become a major factor. And the 32 kilogram bell, everything has to go right for it. The elbow's got to be in the perfect position. As a bigger guy with shoulders that have been a problem for in the past, he would tend now, as he fatigues, to not let the elbow get underneath the bell. He'll come out to the side and drive it. But he's doing a good job so far. With 6 minutes gone at 43 reps. So he just needs to keep this pace if he can. He's got a good rest overhead. One thing you can see here with Bev is his first time lifting with the technique. There's that little nervous bounce that she has when the bell comes in. You have a little bounce before you press it. It's a natural thing that you get, but rep by rep, competition by competition, and set by set, it kind of tends as a habit to go sort of out the window with it. The more you move, the more energy you're burning, so you want to have some real efficiency. But she's got a second wind here. Again, no hand change on this, and this is a really gutsy effort by Bev. That arm now is really going to be burning. The grip's going to be hard on the forearm, but just sheer grit, she's getting through this. And there's a chance she might do the whole 10 minutes with a 10 kilogram on one arm here, which would really, really do her some credit. She's coming in at 74 reps now without a hand change. And like I said, with her broken finger, I've specifically told her not to hand change. And I'm kind of happy she's actually listened to me for once. She's just going to keep going with this one until she literally can't go anymore. So 7 minutes on one arm, that's a great effort by Bev. And she's still keeping a good pace. As Aaron's starting to get to this point now where the fatigue really sets in. And you see this... the more he does this, the more experience you get with this, the more he'll have to pace the starting point, because now the reps per minute are inevitably starting to drop. And it's going to start to be a case now as he gets in here for his 50th rep. It's going to start to be a case of can he get rep by rep? Can he grind this out to a 70 rep, 75 rep mark? Because you're coming into the last quarter now, 2.5 minutes to go. And now he's starting to rest a little bit more in the rack. That fixation's still looking good overhead, but you can just see, just trying to get oxygen in there. It's a brutal weight to be lifting. If you think about how short a period of time he's actually been competing with us, this is a great set by him, up to 52 reps now. As Bev still on one arm, really still looking good, 2 minutes left. There's a chance she's going to break 100 here on one arm, which would really be some exceptional lifting. I'd like to see her using that free hand to whip behind more, create a little bit of momentum, making it easier on that right. And again, that just comes with confidence and experience. But she's doing a great job and still smiling through it. And coming up to the 90-second mark, and it's a good show by Aaron. But the 10-minute cardio here, just being brutal here, as the reps are starting to drop down. I'd like to see him fight here to get up to 70 reps as a target here. It's going to be tough because he's going to have to start averaging 10 a minute, which is going to be hard when everything's starting to hurt and the hand grip hurts, the cleans start to take it out of you, and you still got to lift 32 kilograms up on one arm. Coming in now, 56 reps. I think he's got 60, 65 in him. Let's see what he gets as we get to the last hurdle. But the story today, really, you've got to hand it to Bev. She's taken off with the speed of light and she's not stopped, and she's going to break 100 reps here. You can bet yourself on it. And it's still, for a first-time lifter, that's a great show. That's a great effort. You have people in the international comps, and for whatever reason, you get a cut to the hand, they can't hand change, and they just have to battle through it. Injuries, one of the main ones. Fractures, stress fractures, sprains to the wrist, elbow, I mean, you can't rest in the rack. So 10 minutes, all on one arm. As the crowd start cheering them in, And here you go. Bev's just about to break 100 reps on one arm, and there she does. She does it fair play. And now 30 seconds for Aaron to get up into those 60s. Every rep counts here. It's been a good show here, but it really is a heavy weight for him. It really is a testament to a lot of hard work in the past few months for him. And we're coming into our final reps here, 63. He's going to end up with 64, and Bev's going to end up at 105 here. It's the last 10 seconds. He gets it in. And if he can find one more, but he's got to fixate it. And he's up, he's in 65 and 106. Great set lifting, guys. That's another great phenomenal effort. And you can see here on the score system how you can really see in live time how they're doing reps for each other. And you can see your coefficient system up again. So we're up for our third flight now. We're going to go quiet for 5 minutes so we get to lift us ready. But 2 for 2, 2 really exciting flights. And we've got more action coming up for you. So we'll see you in 5. Okay, I'll just make sure they're ready. Just don't put me up there. Okay, all right, you guys ready? Yeah? Yeah, okay. How's the elbow, Del? How's the elbow?
Yeah, elbow's alright.
Yeah.
More me, that time when the oven was Corey upstairs.
Oh, gee, yeah.
I've got a nerve thing.
In the bicep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just double.
Yeah.
That's brought it back.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Double half snatch.
You might have to go and get a scan on it and get it
See what
looked
that
at.
is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with that. The tennis elbow's getting better.
Yeah.
But
I assumed you said you're injured. I assumed it was your elbow. Like with me, it's if ever I'm injured, it's always my forearm now. It's always here, or that bicep can still it can ping doing anything. Like I mean, I'm out for 3 weeks, right? So
yeah, I'll do a lift today.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, why not? Throw it up. You here? You might as well lift. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, we can go now because I'm talking through it. So. You're on. Run? Okay, so we are ready for our next set. Now this is good for you guys to watch because this is a pentathlon and pentathlons are completely different. So this is going to go on for 5 rounds of 6 minutes lifting with a 5-minute break in between. So the total score is based on how many reps the lifters do with the weights that they are on. So this becomes quite a tactical lift here, and we have got Amy Crump, who is looking to do this in York, who quite likes the pentathlon, but she's not really looking to take it into an international zone. And then we have Alex, who is doing prep to qualify in York for the GS Championships, where he will try and qualify to go and represent England in Hungary in November's IKMF. So it's a nice set for Alex, a good test make for it. And we talk in his training about where he wants to be. So he's got a clear target we've talked about, 1,600 points. 1,600 points would put him for his weight group and his age group into qualification processes. So it would be a good marker for him to see how ready he is for it. The first lift is going to be cleans, then a strict long cycle press, then a jerk, then a half snatch, and a push press to finish. With the 5 minutes rest, you would think that you get plenty of time to recover. But once you start going up in a weight and you start trying to hit what are called max reps, this becomes one of the most demanding lifts in the IKMF in terms of your fitness. It's certainly one of the most competitive when you think that the top end of these lifters are breaking in at 2,000 points, 2,000 points plus on the male group, 1,800 points for the female group. And you've got some great lifters that have done this, like in the past, Finn Bartulen, you've had Kevin Dunn, you've had Tim Joseph, you've had Luke, who will be here later on today, you've had Kate Smith, you've had Val Powerful, all lifters that have put up big numbers in this event. So there really are the potential here to throw up some good sets. Alex is doing a good job and his training is going pretty well. She's in a good position for this. Now the lifters are just ready, athletes are just ready, judges are just ready.
Judges ready!
And we are good to go. So the first one is cleans, which is 20 reps a minute. So in the 6 minutes, they're going to try and get 120 reps. And this is somewhat different here in the rules to any other event, because once you've got the max reps for this lift, you can put the bell down early and get a little bit more rest. There's a lot of tactics that go into this. So Alex is on a 34 kilogram bell and Amy's just taking this easy. She's already done her main lift. She's just basically kind of giving Alex a bit of company on the platform here. But also it's good for her just to get a gauge for this. And so she's going a lot lighter than she would on a normal day with a 16 kilograms for the cleans. So you can see on your screen here at the reps, what you want to get here is 20 reps per minute, which is the maximum that you can get on here. When you're seeing the system with the weight difference here, we've got Alex is going to stay in the lead comfortably the whole way through this just because he's on over twice the weight that Amy's on. So Amy's coming in at well over 20 reps a minute. She's just broken it and Alex is going to coast this through. And there it goes. He hits 20 for the first minute. Now, what Alex wants to do is just catch his breath, get 1 rep in before, which you change here, and bang. And now you're going to come in again, just a little bit ahead of par is what we kind of say. It's kind of a golf term. Just a little bit ahead of what the max reps are. So minute by minute, you get a few extra seconds, and then you're going to put the bell down 20, 30 seconds early, and you just get but a vital bit longer to just recover a little bit, particularly on these first early rounds when you're fresh. It's a really good tactic. And what Alex is doing well on these cleans, he's letting that backhand come back and swing by. You can see it, Amy there as well. The bell has to be given the nod by the judge, but the bell's still in the rack. You can't just bounce it off your arm and keep going. You've got to have what we call fixation. So you've got to have body still, bell still, and the judges are going to be looking for this. And even in a friendly competition like this, you still want the judges to make sure that the rep's true and the rep's good. It's a good back swing. He's turning his hand back there. His free arms doing a lot of good work there as he's coming in on his second minute. And again, he's got there a little bit early. Change, do one more rep, and he's just a little bit ahead of the pace that he needs. Same with Amy now. And Amy, having done a pretty tough set beforehand, she's going to set herself a good challenge here because it does become demanding as you get through the lifts here. Nice batching. Now, Alex worked hard on this at 34 kilograms. One thing he has, because we initially had him on a 36 kilogram bell for his cleans, the trouble he had with it was just the hands, the strength of the hand, the strength of the grip, and at 36 kilograms, it's just starting to tear his hand away. The tactic here is this is the heaviest bell you can do because the clean is a big muscle group lift. So you can put a heavy bell here and you can put up a big chunk of your points. The more points you get on your first set, the less points you need to get the numbers you want when it gets to the half snatch and the push press, where all your body is hanging out and every muscle group is screaming. And you're going to see this as Alex gets past the jerk into the last two sets. But so far, so good. Coming up to halfway through the first set here. And again, perfect timing by both lifters. They're both bang on where they want to be in reps, just a little bit far ahead. Now, sometimes the lifter now wants to put their foot on the gas and go a little bit quick and get this set out the way because it is the heaviest bell he's going to lift. It is going to start hitting that forearm. It can start banging on the bicep. So sometimes if you want a heavy bell here, you want to just kind of like get this one over with, finish maybe 90 seconds, a minute early and get a little bit more air in there, a little bit more time to recover. So far, everything's going perfect to plan from now. 71 reps. He's going to hit 80 pretty happily and clearly here. And again, Amy's going to get there a little bit earlier, so she can either pause for the rest of the minute and just get a bit more rest before she finishes. It's a little bit of back pain coming in here. Whereas Alex, again, perfect timing. He's paced this really well. He's coming in 80 minutes with 5 seconds to go. Nice change early, and he's away again. So he really has got this down exactly how we talked about it going for him. This is a perfect start to him. And if he maxes out on all of his points, he's going to hit that 1,600 reps. So it's going to be a real confidence boost going into qualifications in York, going into these big events. Good stuff so far. And he hits 90 just there. So Amy's a little bit ahead here, but again, she can finish a little bit earlier, just get a couple of seconds more rest there. But everything's looking composed by Alex, which is the main thing. The bell's not bouncing, it's not slamming around. He's landing it exactly where he wants to land it each time. Real good work on the first set here. And if you want to take a look at the coefficients points here, it's a good way to check it out because of the weight difference of the bell. Alex is well ahead by kind of 300 points on the Battle Bell coefficient system. You'll see it when we come to the end of the day, when we do the half snatch at the last lift of the day, when we've got 4 lifters on the same lift, and you really see the coefficients kick in to work out who's in the lead. It doesn't make too much difference here, as this is just a nice little friendly pace setting lift by Amy, but Alex has got a great momentum here and he's really looking calm, he's really looking confident. This is one of the best I've seen him at this weight, being under 75 kilograms. When you start going above 28 kg, everything starts to hit differently and you've really got to take care of every rep here. But so far, with 30 seconds left, he's timed this to perfection as he's got 8 reps to do and he's really going to finish absolutely spot on where he wants to be. And 20 seconds left in the first lift, 1 more change, 5 reps to go. Amy's done now. There's 120 for Amy, so she'll put the bell down 10 seconds early, but Alex just cruising it in exactly where he wants to. You can see it's just starting to have a little bounce on him, just starting to feel the weight. So now they're going to get 5 minutes rest before they go into the next lift, which is a long cycle strict press. There's no use of the legs, and this is a much slower lift, and you have to use a much lighter belt. This uses a lot more strength. So you're only looking for 10 reps a minute, so the maximum reps for this are 60 reps in the lifts. They get a chance now to decide what bell they're going to go with. You can change your tactics for this. You can pick and choose as you get through it. If you're feeling good, you might want to go heavier. If if it's not gone your way, you might want to drop the weight. If you've dropped the bell, which I've seen people do, even in the international stage, you might then have no choice but to go heavy. Yeah, like Alex did in November when the bell flew out of his hand. But we're not going to talk about controversies and drama. Even going to France in 2021 when Jenny Whitcomb dropped the bell through her clean set, she had to massively up the weights in order to hit Master Sports World Class. And we had to scrabble because we didn't have the technology. We had to work out what bell she actually had to go to and do calculations with pen and paper, but she still managed to pull it off. So while you're getting your rest, the athlete gets to make these choices. And anyone who's done pen will remember times where they've had to make these decisions and make these changes. You can do it based on what weight the opponent's done. You can do it based on what you need to get the score. So 3 more minutes of rest and then we'll come through. I'll keep this live going as we go through the whole set. Jenny, we're talking about it now, Jenny. Come over here and talk to us about it and talk to us through it. So you might remember that lift where you did drop the bell on the first set of the cleans.
I did, yes. I was the only person. I just needed to do the set and I should have got a medal, but what I really wanted was the 1,000 points for Master of Sport so that I would never have to do pentathlon again. And once I dropped that bell, I had to do it 2 more years running until I got my 1,000 points.
So one question when we're talking about pentathlons, and I think a lot of people here, because we've got Dell here, we've got Rich here, we've got Al here among us. What is it about pentathlon that makes it that little bit more demanding, either mentally or physically, than just a marathon set or a biathlon set or a GS set?
So for me, it's the fact that it's 5 different lifts, all of which require a slightly different technique and skill set. 2 of the lifts I found quite straightforward, the clean and the half snatch, and I would get maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of my points on 2 lifts. And then I absolutely loathed the other 3. And so they were the ones that I had to put the most work into to make sure I would get my 1,000 points. So it's the variety of lifts and the different requirements for each of those lifts that makes Pent such a challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a real good point with that, because when you're doing pentathlon, a lot of lifters have one lift they take to. So it's a push or pull and kettlebell support. So if you are good at half snatch, you're going to have a very good pushing system, a very good pulling system. If you're good at long cycle or jerk, it's your push system. And pentathlon uses all of them. So I remember talking to Gary Rothwell back pre-COVID competitions, and he was talking about stick to the lift that you know. So he was always a long cycle lifter. But then if you go to GS and you do biathlon, you have no choice but to push or pull as well. So I think pentathlon really brings that toughness out, because you have to master 5 different lifts, as well as the fitness elements, very different as well, because the intensity to hit max reps is really demanding. On that set, when when the bell flew out of your hand and you knew you had to go heavier, how much harder was it lifting the heavier bell to what you practiced?
I don't think I did go heavier. I think I realised, because I was going so heavy on the clean, that was always my strength. I decided to do 26 kilograms for the clean, which is heavy for me. Once I had not got the points for the clean, I was never going to get the Master of Sport. So then I had to make sure I got enough points, because I was on my own in my category, to make sure I got a medal.
To get the CMS.
Yeah, so that I would get a CMS and I would contribute to the team total. So it was getting rid of the plan A and making sure I'd got a plan B, which was get the rank, get the medal, get the points for the team, do it another year.
So they're just about to go into their second set. So it's one thing that's worked. There's one thing about the sport that I like, and one about the IKMF I like, is that I've done other sports like jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and taekwondo, where if you're the only one in your group, you get a bye to the next round. And in this sport, they put in a ruling that if you're the only one in your group, you don't win unless you hit a certain standard. Other companies don't have it, but I think it's a really good idea, because it means you're proving that no matter who showed up on the day, you're at a minimum standard to be crowned a champion. So I really agree with it. Do you agree with that?
If I hadn't won a medal at my first ever competition, I would have never lifted again. So I do agree, unless you're an absolute beginner, in which case a medal for anything is just thrilling.
Yeah, okay. So we're about to go again now. So thanks, Steve. We'll get back to you in the next break then. Okay. Right, and we're off. So you can see here on the strict press, the long cycle strict press, there's 2 points of fixation, which we used to have fixometers of the sport to monitor, which was a real nightmare for a lifter. calibration issues and you just didn't get the rep. But the judge now has to verify that you fixated on the clean there and then fixated on the press. This really slows it down. Plus the press, one of the only presses in the sport, where you can't use your legs. So it's a strict press, which means that the arm that you've just bashed on a heavier bell for the clean, you're now having to use almost in its entirety to get the bell up into the rack. You're starting to see Amy with the back clean, so she'll lean her torso away and lean it back in quite nicely. She's a little bit quick overhead. A stricter judge might start penalising that, but she's getting it nice and still up there, but she does really well with her shoulder mobility, like anyone who does jerk. She's really getting that bicep to go by the ear, and it really takes pressure off the tricep because it allows her shoulder, allows any muscle going down underneath the bell all the way down to her quads and the tibs to take some of the weight, which is a great way of lifting it. And Alex, go on.
I was just going to say the thing Amy's doing really well in her lean back is she's leaning back for a bit, and then when the bell is above 90 degrees, she's putting her head forward. You see a lot of athletes that get the lean back and they stay leaning back, but actually she's doing very well to bring her hips forward to get that bell beyond the 90-degree point.
Well, she had an okay coach, but one thing that I find when it goes heavy on any jerk motion, I get my head to go back as the bell goes up and I leave it back. But the heavier the bell goes, so on my half snatch and on my jerk at the World Games sets, I find I'm looking up to fixate, and that's going to put more emphasis on your shoulders. Whereas what they're both doing, like you're saying, is she's looking back, so they go look back and then lock forward, and that takes the pressure off the shoulder as you fixate to it. And it also kind of says to the judge, I've finished, I'm not moving, my head's in position, which is a nice way to sell it. She's going a little quick. Where are we on reps here? I think she's flying through this. So she's on 30. Yeah, she's about 50 seconds ahead. But it's a fairly light bell for her, whereas even Alex is going on a 22. He's a little quick for this. But again, it's the sets like the jerk and the half snatch and that push press at the end where you really, really struggle with the pace.
So for me, this set is a bit of a recovery after the clean. You can't get anywhere near as many points because the maximum number of reps is 60 as opposed to 120 with the clean. Most people would use a much lighter bell and therefore your coefficient is going to be less. So in lots of ways, I see going heavy on the clean and really wearing myself out means I can use this set for a recovery before the jerk and the half snatch, which will get you more points.
Yeah, I think as a tactic, that's an idea that a lot of people talk about, a lot of coaches talk about. There's only 60 reps up for grabs, so you might as well go lighter and recover and go heavier on your 120s, like your jerk and your clean. And you then say that you'll go heavier on a push press, but sometimes it just doesn't happen because you're just done by here. With the 6 minutes on to the 5 minutes recovery, how hard is it when you get to those last sets for you to recover from it? No matter how hard you train interval work and VO recovery work, it's the different factor of Pen is how hard the last two sets go. How hard for you when you're doing it is your half snatch and your push press?
So it's never cardio limited for me. I do enough cardio, bike, riding, running, etc. for the cardio never to be limiting. So half snatch is my big point earner, and I would balance off my clean and my half snatch. I either do 26 half snatch, which is heavy for me, and 26 clean and 16 half snatch, or I would do 24 clean and 18 half snatch, depending on how I'm feeling. So that last push press set, the cardio will for me recover in the 5 minutes, but whether the grip is there, whether the strength is there, and I'm not a good presser, like you say. I'm a good puller.
Yeah, it's the
I'm
push
not a good,
or the pull.
Yeah, I'm not a good pusher. So for me, push press is everything I've got before I die, and that's where I will always either make my target or not make my target, depending on whether I've dropped the bell.
I think a lot of when you're getting to the top tier at this, a lot of these lifts, whether they're success or failure, it really does come down to that how much is left in the tank for the push press. As Amy, he put it down at 60, but not 100 happy with her back now. She does have a bit of back trouble. She's a heavy lifter in the gym, and every now and then her back, if she hasn't rested, can play a factor. I hope it doesn't become a problem later on in the set for her. But Alex has timed this set again very well. Again, like you said, it is a bit of recovery, and quite commonly you're going to finish earlier on this lift than anywhere else and get more time to recover. Do you think that's a good tactic, or do you like to really try to come in at the 6 minute mark, bang on and pace it?
pride myself in coming in on the 6-minute mark. I train for the 6-minute mark. I call pentathlon kettlebell chess because there's a tactics, there's a strategy, there's a looking at the points, looking at the bell, looking at the reps. Where am I going to get max points? Where might I slip a few? What would be my recovery lift? How do I need to do as little as possible in the push press where I might be completely shot in terms of arm strength to still get what I want? And I will play around. So I like to get it bob on.
When you say play around, do you do test sets in your training program where you think, I'm going to try and go heavier on jerk, I'm going to try and not have to do so much on push press, but going heavy, like you said, on half snatch and cleans?
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't do the full 6 minutes on, 5 minutes off. I hardly ever do a test set like that. But I might do 3 on, 2.5 off, just to see how it's going.
It's interesting, actually, when you're talking about training for pentathlons, because it's the more you coach and the more you learn about coaching and programming. And I take my programming that I do for my clients. I put a lot of time into working out for them. There's a lot of information that's out there that's available for training cycles, for marathon training, half marathon training, now even 2-hour marathon training. We've kind of got, we've worked out processes for it. I think the most knowledge is there, the most research is there from GS because it's the longest going sport. For pentathlon, as a coach, I really don't find a lot of information out there. So I had to spend a lot of time trialing and erroring how I did my programming. Did you find that yourself, or did you find that you could get access to it?
No, completely trial and error. I would get my programming set by Tracy Howson at the Hangout. I would look at it every week. It comes through on a Sunday. I feel like I'm the first person that ever presses like on their training program. I'm like waiting for it. Then I have a look at it, and then I think, is that what I need? Should I change a bell? So mostly I do what Tracy programs, but often I'll think, what do I feel like? Do I want to try an experiment? So I like a minimum of a 3-month cycle going into an event, and I would spend every set building up to that 3 months tweaking and going with what I feel like doing body-wise and head-wise as much as what the program says.
So 3 minutes into the rest phase now, and this is the set where it can start. I've had pentathlons where if you go too heavy on here, 2 minutes into this set, you really start to struggle with it. For me, this is where it really starts to be a test. Talking to Tim Joseph about it, he always said it was half snatch for him, but again, he's a much stronger lifter with this. Talking about competitions and things, because we got 3 minutes. Coming out of COVID and with the success the England teams had, what highlight moments have stood out for you on international competitions?
Oh gosh. This sounds a bit of a cliche, but I have taken something from every international competition we have done. I love seeing new lifters lift for the first time and succeed. Even here, you have got people I've never seen before. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I think one thing about the club that we've done really well, and it's not really anything that I've specifically done, is the lifters here have so much pride in the club. They talk about it, and it's I only have a handful of people, but we have a big social media presence locally, so people do see us and go, I want to give that a go. But it's much more of a case that Susie brought Amy into it, Al brought Laura into it, and it's just this way that the club they get so passionate about it that they bring people into the sport. If we get other clubs doing that, then the size of the England team could dramatically change. It took this setup years to get to the point. I mean, there's so many competitions we all rocked up, apart from Kettlebell Sport Hangout, all the other lifters just rocked up from their own gyms, working on their own. I think what we've got coming up here, we've got enough time to go through this before we start again on their jerk set. What are you looking forward to then about the comp coming up in August? And just tell people that are watching online what they can get and what they can see.
So the comp coming up in August, it's complicated because we've got all 3 federations have got an international competition between August and December. So we need to try and get in as many lifts as we can. So there'll be a huge variety of lifts to see, from marathon to pentathlon like you're watching at the moment, World Games that we're featuring later, the 10-minute, what we call GS lifts that you'll see some of as well. So I'm looking forward to a real variety. Again, we've got brand new lifters hoping to qualify, which is always absolutely thrilling. And then we've got people that have lifted before. and maybe they've gone up a weight. I'm excited to see James Sandals lifting a much heavier weight in marathon in August, because every time I see him lift, I think two things. One, you should be lifting doubles, you're strong enough for doubles. And then the other thing I think is you should be lifting a heavier bell. So I love seeing those increments as people grow in confidence. And you can tell that somebody is capable of lifting heavier. I can tell Amy could be lifting every one of these bells heavier.
I think confidence of a lifter, particularly for marathon, because it's such a long duration of time. Confidence is such an important thing, and sometimes you just have to let the lifter find it on their own. If you push them outside their comfort zone where they're ready, you're not physically. This is such a mental game, and it's such a game of mental toughness, and it takes a long while to build that in an athlete. So 10 seconds left. Let's see particularly how Alex so far so good is on pace for his 1600 points. At the moment he's in 675, and there's another 120 reps up for grab with a 24 kilogram bell. This could put him up to the 800-900 mark. He's got to get 20 reps a minute. You've got to have good fixation there. And Amy, like we said about weight, she's on a 20 kilograms. So that's not a lightweight.
She looks very comfortable.
Yeah, her jerk motion is really nice with this. The only thing for Amy is going to be the pace. 20 reps a minute is going to be a tough for both of these. In fact, 20 reps a minute. Particularly now, one factor that we will talk about that has been a big factor for competitions here is the sun's now come out and you're in a metal barn. So the temperature inside there over the next few hours, if the sun stays out, is only going to go up, which is good for us because it means we don't have to worry about rain, but it's bad for the lifters going later in the day because the temperature will start to skyrocket.
And it's good experience because as athletes you go where the World Championships are, and experience tells me they're either going to be boiling hot or freezing cold. There is absolutely nothing in between usually.
I've never had a freezing. Me and Al just said, you've had a freezing cold? I'd pay for a freezing cold. I remember in Hungary in November when it started snowing and the whole Spanish team ran out to see the snow because they'd never seen the snow before. But inside it was still absolutely roasting. So I think this has been historically. I think we had the heat wave 2 years ago.
We did. I remember it was
40 degrees here. I think that was probably the hottest I've ever lifted in. But I say it in the kettlebell room is essentially a greenhouse, and I say it to the guys there, if you're going to go and compete in Poland in the summer, if you're going to compete in Hungary in the summer, it's going to be hot. There's no air conditioning. We tend to compete in kind of these older buildings that don't tend to have the kind of facilities you'd want for it. So you do end up having to suffer it, and being used to it, like I said, being prepared for it and conditioned for it is a real good help. Now, so far, both of them are flying a little bit quick for this, which this is a good concept now. But again, you're going to see Amy, I can tell when she does it, she's just hit that 2-minute wall and her reps are now going to drop. You can see it in her face already. Whereas Alex, he's just been a little bit more mindful of his pace the whole way through. He's going to slow down a little bit here, but so far he's looking good. And if he gets max reps here, he is really on his way to 1600. But you're just going to see this, and I was thinking this might happen. They're both going to start to slow down. He's still got a good breathing at the top. He's still getting a good lock up, but he's now pulling in, just doing it, just coming in 10 for the first half. So he is still bang on track.
Yeah. And he's changing every 10, is he? Every 30 seconds?
Yeah, 10 every. Will you do it different with that on jerk? Because I'll always try and do half the reps per minute per hand in the 30. So a 120 set, I'll always change every 10.
Yes, same. Yeah. Absolutely the same.
And
if I don't, I'm in trouble.
And then when it gets to half snatch and you've got to do 18 a minute, how do you change there?
9 every 30
9
seconds.
every 30.
Yeah.
See, when I start
Unless I'm struggling, in which case I'll improvise.
One thing that I find, people might find this funny, but I find that counting your reps when you start to hang out gets harder. And it's easy when it's a good multiple. Yeah. But for some reason, counting to 9 when you're tired,
especially when you're counting to 10.
Yeah, and so I end up having to change on the 8s or change on the 10s. Right. But anything can happen when you start getting to the half snatch.
And for me, that happens in push press where I really can't count them at all because I am usually dying. I hate the lift.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm usually going for a target, and I need somebody to be saying, "You need X" or "You need Y," and it's usually Rich Freeman.
I think even if you put push press at the front of first on the set, if you rearrange it and did your push press first, I think it would be most lifters' least favourite lift.
Yeah.
It's just a hard lift. The whole sport is for endurance rather than strength, and it's one of the lifts that really is strength based.
Yeah.
So lifters that are kind of known for their cardio, it's always going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
But 4 minutes have gone, and Alex has timed this absolute perfection. He's at 80, so Amy's only just slowing down. She's done a real good job of it, still enjoying the set, but Alex now is going to have to battle through these last 2 minutes, and it's the amount of rest he's going to get, how much this is going to tax him, is going to really affect how he does the hard snatch and the push press. So far, he's only just slowing down here. 5 reps, 6 reps at the halfway for this minute. So he's just dropped below 20 a minute for the first minute. And this is what can start to happen, as he's got to really just mentally now battle through and pretty much sprint with the 24 kilogram for a minute.
There was a nice interaction just then with Laura Grant, who is the judge on Amy's platform, giving her that "you are not stopping, you are not putting it down" kind of shake of the head.
I'll say one thing about Laura, for all the things she brings to our club, one thing she's amazing for is she will turn up on days where she's not lifting just to hurl abuse at you so you don't put the bell down. She's been a real good addition to the club for what she's done. And she took handling the captain's role for the WKSF really well.
She did.
I know she was stressed over it, and she does overthink, she does worry about stuff, but she did a real good job with it.
She did.
And we're coming in, so 101. So Alex is going to be just shy. He's going to come in between 110 and 115 here. As they're getting into the last 30 seconds. Points-wise, he's doing good because he's just about to break 1,000, which means he needs to average 300 points rather, over the last 2 lifts, which is a challenge.
He's having a sprint.
Doable. Yeah,
he might get there. Oh no! Oh, okay, but he's changing every 3.
Yeah,
okay.
It's too much. Like you can see there, everything's starting to tax the forearm for grip.
But that is his left hand, so maybe he'll do a few more than 3 on the right. Come on, Alex.
10 seconds.
So I'd go all the way on my right now if I could. Okay, you can't.
Yeah,
come on, let's have one more.
If you haven't got it, you have to change. I mean, I remember losing that World Games set to Miguel where I had to change in the last 10 seconds. But people said, why didn't you change? But there's no choice. If you're going to lose the bell, or you think you're going to lose the bell, you're going to change hands. This is the thing you were saying about chess. The tactics in second by second become a factor in pentathlon more than any other sport. If he didn't have to change hands, then he could have potentially pulled the other 6 reps out.
Yeah, because every change is a rep, potentially, if you can do it.
Yeah. But 114 reps of action is at 1,000, so he needs just under 600 points now to finish this off. So it's definitely possible. But you can see how at the end of the clean, they're joking, they're talking, they're standing. And then at the end of the other sets now at the end of the jerk set, you just want to sit, you just want to breathe, you just want to make the next 5 minutes last as long as they can last and get as much recovery in you as you can, as these last 2 lifts become everything now.
And rest time does work on a different scale to ordinary time. It just gets quicker and quicker.
Oh yeah.
Whereas lifting time gets slower and slower.
It always seems to be that way, though, and they've done a good job in creating this event because it really is a challenge of your fitness, and it's a very specific fitness to train for.
Yeah.
I like to do active recovery cardio sessions, so I like to do starting people off at 4 minutes of intense work, 4 minutes of active recovery, and then build it up to 6 minutes of intense work to 4 minutes of active recovery. So 4 minutes 6 minutes on your row machine, 4 minutes light jog. High rocks is a pretty good format for it. It really helps with that. It's getting to crunch time now. I think he can do it. Having seen him and having worked with him, my thing on my head is he now thinking about dropping the weight for his half snatch? That becomes the factor. If he can get 18 a minute at the weight he wants, he's in with a chance. Sometimes the bells have to drop weight now, and he's having a little conversation about whether he's going to do it or not.
What weight do you think he'll use?
Well, he should ideally be using either a 22 or a 20. He's going to have no chance of getting the reps if he has to drop below 20. And then bear in mind as well, it's another 6 minutes of work before you get into the push set. So I'd like to see him do this on a 22 and then drop the push press and go out swinging. You're kind of taking it for granted. And again, talk about playing chess. You've got the tactic now to try and recover in your half snatch. But even no matter what bell you take, half snatch is 18 reps a minute for 6 minutes. That's not really recovery.
No.
When you're on about long cycle strict and you're doing 5 reps and change in 10 a minute, you can recover with that.
Yeah.
You're not going to recover in a half snatch set. It's a bit of a gamble here either way. My advice: go heavy on the half snatch, get all the points you have, and at least you know how much you have left in the tank and what you need to get.
Yeah, for the push press. Yeah, I'm fascinated by Amy's numbers there because she went so strong with that jerk on that, I think 20 rather than 18. She got the 102. So when she competes in August, because I think she has signed up for Penn, I'll be fascinated to see what choices she makes then and how she changes.
Yeah, I mean, she wants to do the Penn. We've talked about if she gets the Penn, would she go abroad and do it internationally? And I think the fact that I wanted to do a good set, and it's nice to see her train for it. It's nice to see her take up a lift. And it's nice to see the confidence Amy now has as a lifter. One thing she said that's true is it's one thing qualifying for the qualification numbers, but if you're a competitive athlete and you want to win, and you bear in mind how competitive it is at the international level on pentathlon for the women, she'll be in the open group at the maximum weight group. The numbers those girls are putting up is really, really impressive. It means that you're going to have to really up the amount of weight you're going to have to lift. It makes a huge difference. So I think she's going to enjoy York. She's going to train hard for it, but her focus really is to work on her GS lifting and to work on her World Games lifting. Because I think she's going to be good enough to give a challenge to any lifter come May next year. Yeah,
her lift this morning, the 26 jerk, was it, or 28? 26 jerk. I was in my own world of pain alongside her, but I was able to look across and see that she was going to beat her PB.
It was nice watching that set. It was nice watching someone first time lift next to such an experienced lift like yourself, and watching Brad. For a first time set, he had a great set, but the difference in the experienced lifters is at no point during that lift did you feel like your rhythm was broken, or did you feel like you were really phased by it. One thing, if you watch it back, Brad's first rep is not the same as Brad's last rep. And if you look at the real good lifters, no matter how long the set is, your first rep looked exactly the same as your last rep. And that's just experience, time with the bell, and the skill of the technique being fluid. So these are off now for half snatch. She's dropped down to a 12, and Alex is on a 24. So he's actually gone heavier than I was expecting. So this is a big gamble, because if he pulls this off, he's not going to need 300 points on his push press. If it goes wrong, it can go wrong quick.
It's going very fast.
Yeah, it's a good start.
I think of this as one of his lifts. This would normally be his half marathon lift, if not his marathon lift, which is a good sign. It's still multi-switch. This is the weight he would normally use for a half marathon. He's
pretty fast as well at points during his half marathon training set. So we do some work where he's at 15 reps a minute. So it's not far off what he needs here. It's just the one thing I'll always say about it when you compare it is, very rarely when you do your half marathon set have you already done a set of cleans, a set of presses, and a set of jerks beforehand.
Yes,
so
true.
It doesn't always add up. So he's coming in pretty comfortable here as we've gone through the first minute. So he's just shy of 18 a minute. He's 17 point something there.
But technically he looks very comfortable. He's got minimal backswing. He's not using a load of energy with too much backswing. Nice lean back.
I like the use of the spare hand as well. And it's nice to see Amy on this, because this isn't her lift, but she will have a go. And the technique's there for it. It's just, obviously, it's a lighter bell than you're used to seeing Amy lift.
And her face is a picture. Her face muscles are working very hard.
I don't think you can break Amy's character. I think she's just such a happy person and a happy lifter now. But she's always got a joke. There you go. There's a little cheeky smile. She's always been like someone who brings that energy to your training sessions.
And I think there's sometimes a smile of somebody that's loving it, and there's a smile of somebody that is absolutely grinning and bearing it.
Might be
and I think for Amy, it's that second one.
So Alex is doing well with this. It's going to be interesting to see. He's just shy of where he wants to be here, but there are 4 minutes left, so it's time to pull it back. It's a case of how well can he keep the rhythm? How well can he do the hand change? At what point does he have to rest? I like telling him, rest before you change on multi-switch. So if you're having to rest there in between the hand changes, it really disrupts your flow. So I'll always tell him now, and particularly his half marathon set, to do all the reps on this arm, try and get there a little bit early, and then if things are going well, you've got a few seconds to rest before the change.
It's interesting. I think his left arm is looking more comfortable than his right, starting to pull a bit on his right rather than flow with the straight leg extension at the back.
With his body type, we talked about him doing a little dip to get the bell overhead, but he doesn't really do that. It's all on that backswing and all on that shunt forward of that torso. But he's getting good fixation now. He's getting halfway, and again, he's just 5 reps shy of where he wants to be. But you've still got 3 minutes that could drag him down. So had he gone to a 22, would it have made too much difference because you'd be getting less points slightly per rep? It really becomes a factor really of how much will this take out of him in order to get a good score on the push press. He's about to get to the 1,200 mark, so it's gonna as the reps come down, it's gonna put more weight on the push press to get 1,600. He only needs 1,500 to get a very good PB for him today, which is looking like he's on target for. But 1,600 was the target coming in.
It's always interesting with half snatch because you've got the choice of resting in 2 positions, either at the full extension or in the rack position. And Alex is definitely a rack rester.
I think the lighter the person is, the less of a factor the bell being in your rack is. I think it's the bigger bodies find it much harder to breathe with the bell in doubles or singles. So Alex is always going to be easier and confident. Fixate and then rest there and breathe. It's going to be taxing on that lat and that arm to try and rest overhead while you're still repping. Now, hopefully, again, I'd like to see him get to the end of the hand change and rest before the hand change. In his marathon sets, we do it a lot, but again, it's just how well does your game plan go when you're tired? Okay, how well does it go when you're puffing?
Is he even thinking anymore?
Yeah, is he even thinking? Yeah.
I lose the ability to count at some point.
Exactly. I find when it's an odd number counting to 18 or counting to 9, it becomes really sounds stupid, but it becomes a huge factor. 90 seconds left, just gone now, so he's gonna get close to the 100 mark here, and Amy's gonna probably pull out very close to 108 if she doesn't get it. And Amy, she's about to break 100, or 91, sorry. So 1 minute left. So again, if Alex puts his foot down here, he can get to 85, 90 reps, but 120 is going to creep away from him. But he's going to now need over 300 on push press, which is pretty much out of the question. So it's really going to be, can he set his targets in 1,500?
So he's going for 108 and he's on 97, 98.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 in the last 40 seconds.
He's on 80. He's on 82. So Amy's just on 100. Oh, 90, 100 now.
Okay. Yep,
so he's going to just about get to 90, I reckon. Even Amy's going to struggle to get past 110, which is good points for half snatch. This concept of maxing out reps on these events, once you get past jerk, very few lifters really are able to max out. So
especially the last one.
Especially, so it really becomes about how everyone becomes a bonus after a certain point. So 300 on the reps is going to come in at. So he really needs just over 300 for push press. In reality, I'd like to see him have a tactic now of get your target set at 1,500. Select the bell wisely. Really think about what you've got left for 20 a minute, 4-6 minutes. Pick a smart bell and get as close to it as you can get. So I would say the best thing now is drop it to 22 or 20. He wasn't planning on going as heavy because, again, he's a pull lifter, not a push lifter. So maybe dropping to 18 kilograms and really trying to get the 120 to get the most points. We'll have to see what he does now. But this is the point. You can see it in his face. This is the point where, everyone's got a game plan until it gets to crunch time, and then it really is a case of how much is left in the tank.
Amy's having a little experiment here. Yeah. Do I fancy the 16? I don't think she does.
Yeah, 1 rep's one thing. Only 119 more to do, Amy. Do you reckon you can do it that way? I'd say use a 12. Use a 12. Have fun. Enjoy it. You've done a great job, and nobody sort of said you have to lift next. She decided she wanted to give Alex some company on the platform, and it makes a big difference. Lifting on your own with everybody watching you as opposed to lifting with somebody. So she's done more than her job with Aston today, and she's pulled out 730 points with 1 lift to go. The real thing is, can Alex beat 1500? It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. There's a lot riding on this last lift, and again, this becomes a mental task as well as a physical task, because a lot of this is uncomfortable. It's starting to hurt. It's starting to hurt to breathe. You probably get a stitch coming on. It's just not a nice place to be, and it's just a question of how much do you want it when it starts to get tough.
Yeah, I would imagine numb forearms. He's still got his wrist guards on. I always take my wrist guards off at this point, even if it's for 2 minutes, just to try and get a bit of blood in my forearms.
I'll take the wrist guards off. I like to keep the belt on because that's a faff to get it back on again when your arms and your biceps are tired out. And so if you're doing okay, like I don't like to sit to rest. I like to be stood upright. Because you've then almost got to warm up again. You kind of start to get stiff. But when it gets to these ones, you're either on this bench or you're on the floor. It's one or the other.
And this is just a very drippy time. You just you just sweat and sweat and sweat, and your hands are wet, and your hair is wet, and your head is wet, and your face is wet. And
oddly enough, we talked a lot about his hands. He doesn't seem to be bothered by his hands. He's not constantly chalking them in between the sets so much. So
no.
I think the hands aren't an issue for him. It's just going to be a mental battle now. What bell do I pick? How fast do I go out the gate? And
he's picked up the 32.
Yeah, I put it back down.
So he chose 24 for jerk. What would you do if you were on push press having done jerk 24?
I wouldn't expect to be on the same weight for my push press for my jerk. And similar to Alex, he's going to a 22. I do long cycle for half marathons. I've done jerk heavy sets in the past. So I wouldn't say I was a push or a pull lifter, but I think push press is just harder to do. So I just think just drop it a little bit. We're going to try the 22. I think he's going to struggle to maintain 20 a minute on this weight based on how the half snatch went 3 minutes in. So I think if he sticks on 22, I think you can see him get off to a good start, and I think by the second minute he's going to start bouncing the knees, or he's just going to start having to rest and just drop the pace. So I'm going to say he's going to come in around 70-80 reps on this to finish off, which will put him just shy of 1500. And then we've got a lot to go back to the drawing board with. He's had a good set, a very good start. And he's done himself good edge to get a personal best on this. What I want to see is just stretching out some quads. What I want to see is slowing down at the start, starting a pace you can maintain, and then finishing off at the end, rather than fixing yourself on 20 reps for the first 2 minutes and then having 2 minutes where you really are caught in no man's land before that adrenaline kicks in, before you're kind of close to the end of it. We've got about a minute left before we start. We'll see how we do with this.
He's a really focused lifter. If you look at Amy, she knows exactly what's going on. She's chatting, she's laughing. Alex is absolutely in his own mind.
It's an important lift for Alex because this is the last time in reality in his training program. This is the last full run for he's going to get in front of a crowd in a good simulation before he qualifies in York. And after York, the next time he's going to do anything like this will be in Hungary, where he had a good. It was his first lifting for England back in that Hungary set, and he had a good lift. And again, it's kind of like you got to talk in your head. You've got your eyes set on Nicholas from Belgium. You've got your eyes set on Finbar from Ireland. The question is how much work can you do to bridge the gap between those lifters and those strong lifters? You've got a great Polish team that's going to be coming for it, and they've got some great pentathlon lifters at this level. So it's this kind of case that he's at a level where he should be thinking that qualification's in the bag in all reality. I mean, he's coming close to qualification points by the end of this set with a lot of time to get work done. It's a case of, if you're going to take it internationally, what are your sights on getting yourself on a podium, and how well can you get that clean up? Bell-wise, he's not that far off what the top people are lifting. It's that case of what the heavier bell does to the pace that becomes a real problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a good start. Again,
looking
like I said,
now.
both looking comfortable on the first one. Amy flying through it.
Amy's even singing.
Yeah, there's always room to sing.
I once
Sometimes
tried
not in
singing.
tune,
I tried singing through a marathon once. It was a real bad mistake. I felt better mentally, but I just couldn't breathe.
We don't have any marathon sets here to talk about, but I enjoy marathon. It's one of my most favourite lifts, but the middle 20 minutes of it are just a nightmare on your mindset. You start doubting everything, and then the last 20 minutes you kind of feel, I've got a chance of doing this, and the first 20 minutes are really like a comfort zone that is temporary.
Yeah, it's you warm up, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't really warm up before a marathon. other than a bit of stretching.
Bit of stretching for a lighter bell around.
Yeah.
So he's doing good so far because he's gonna get 40 and 2. Okay, he's a little bit ahead. He's now 90 seconds in, so he's actually going a little bit quicker on pace. As Amy takes the 40, and this is where, yeah, all of a sudden, as soon as I said that, Alex has started to slow down a little bit, and you can see it's the first 2 minutes, 20 reps a minute seems okay, and then lactic acid comes in, and there's less muscle groups being able to use to this, so that tricep is going to start to burn out, and you've still got 4 minutes of lifting to do.
And you're thinking this is a leg exercise as well. How can I make my legs do some work when my arm is hurting?
Now, we
so
can't
much?
see the heels here, but you just want to point out the rules for this. But if the heel comes off the ground, it's a no rep. And the judges should be looking for that, even at a competition of this nature. And it gets very tempting to almost jump and punch up, where the heels will come off.
Yeah.
And Amy's still keeping pace on this. She's going to hit 60 early here. Alex, again, is just slowing down. He's got a bit of work to do here. And you're going to start changing more frequently because that tricep's going to start burning out. And again, sun's coming out, starts to heat up a little bit for you now as we get to halfway through the last lift. But it's been good to see him. He's kept focused. He's had a good set. And again, now you're just seeing him enter that hurt locker here. If you're watching this at home and you don't really know what we're on about, every rep becomes so hard now from here on. He's on 51 reps here. So again, I'm going to expect him to get in around 80, 90 at the max here.
I reckon 100.
He's got a good push to go. But each rep's going to start to do damage. And the bell's got to land right exactly where you want it. Nice change there. Breathe, lift. Good. He's still fixating well.
Yeah.
The pace is just inevitably going to slow here as you really get to the end. Hopefully he's got enough in the tank for a little 2-minute push. And there's 60.
He's going to do 100 at least.
We've got 2.5 minutes left. We can put a bet on it, you know. I'm gonna call him in at 80 to 85.
No, I'm going 100.
And, he's at 63. It's just that good there. Okay, and we're at 65 with 2 minutes to go. And you can tell when we're tight, when you're trying to clean it down, it's so hard to clean high enough to get in a good position. But he's giving a go for it now as we get to the 2-minute mark. He's stuck in on 69 reps here. It's a nice change of gear here. Can he keep this up for 2 minutes?
The good thing is he's remembered that this is one of the lifts where you can do a speed switch, so you can have both hands on the bell. He's remembered that. Sometimes I completely forget that because I'm so knackered.
The thing here is we've been lifting since before these rule changes came in. Me and you were both lifting when speed switches just didn't exist. So these guys that have come in, they've come in learning it. And as long as the rules don't change, it's all they'll ever know. But yeah, he's just cleaning a little low now as he starts to get tired with it. And he's still getting good fixation. He's done a real good job here. 90 seconds.
Well, he's pleased. He feels like he's made a landmark.
And again, he's just having to change that a little more frequently because that arm is just, after 2 or 3 reps, the arm's just spent. And he's at, Amy's broken 100.
Okay, so
Alex is on 80.
I think Alex knows that he's just passed the 1500 landmark, which is a PB. So if he's got the presence of mind to know that.
Every rep's now a bonus for him.
He's still thinking, which is a good sign.
1 minute to go. He might get into the 90s now. Every rep's a bonus. And bear in mind, this playlist is mine, so you've got an epic playlist. You guys can't hear it at home, but an epic soundtrack to finish through here. As we're coming in, and Alex just going to take 100 reps with 30 seconds left. So again, it's very hard to max out on all your lifts towards the end. If you take a look at the joint, he's maxed out the first 3. He was only a few reps shy on half snatch, and he's going to fight to break 100 here. 92, you might have called it, Jenny. 93, good job. 15 seconds, 94. Last change here, 10 seconds.
3 more.
5, 96. You should have put money on it, Jenny. 97 and done. 97. And that's a great PB. 15.59 on points for Alex. 946 for Amy. Fair play to Amy for going through it after the World Game set. That's an excellent set. He's got the crowd into it. He's got to feel proud of that. And we're going to go quiet now and get ready for the next set.
wanted this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Fuck with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it index. Fuck this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Yeah. Oh shit, they don't let me shoot a whole clip. Firepower in this coalition. We just turned the field into a demolition. It was desolate, but I had premonition. I was training for war every exhibition, every extra mission, every enemy listening. Get off my dick, I got bad intentions. Make it right every wrong, and I'm back with a vengeance. I show you the ropes. Peace in my town, I can show you the coast. Up in the shots if they wanted to smoke. If you know, then you know. Suited up, bitch, my whole team do the same. Don't you forget who created the game. Ready for war, I was born with grenades. The trenches where soldiers are made. Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure.
Time to go. Yeah. Time to go. You're fine. You're fine. Listen, 10 minutes. It's all over. Okay.
I used the 10.
That's fine. Use your one. Use that one. Yeah. Again. So welcome back, guys, and we're just about ready to get set for Ruth, who's sitting on her own here, and we're just going in for a 12-minute military snatch. Ruth's looking at this on multi-switch format with a 10-kilogram bell. So targets for this with Ruth. Ruth's had a intermittent start to her kettlebell lifting, and I know this because she's been through a few different clubs. And hold on, we've got a slight issue on the reps coming through, but we're going to carry on live through it. So hopefully, and you get these, hopefully Ruth just carries on, and then we'll reset the points. It might just be an admin error on the judge not putting them in. So we're 30 seconds in, we've caught up now. So Ruth is on 9 reps now, so you should be able to see that coming through the screen. So military snatch, for those of you who haven't seen it, and it's good that we get all these different lifts in here. Military snatch is a GS lift, which means you get this internationally in IUKL competitions and WKSF competitions. It's almost like a halfway house between doing a half marathon and doing GS. So you can change hands as many times as you want. And on this format, you're still just trying to get fixation over the top. So the difference here between military snatch and GS snatch as part of biathlon is your biathlon snatch is a 10-minute lift, but you can only have one hand change, which becomes another real difference in the sport. It's difference in tactics that you have to play, just like you saw Bev doing, but with her injury, she didn't change hands once. So Ruth can change as many times as you want, and because of that, the reps per minute get quite tough and it gets quite competitive in a cardio frame. Now, Ruth's had a lot of stop and starts with her lifting, just due to injuries, moving house, a lot of things have come up. So she's just getting back into a place where she can really commit to a training program. So having worked with Ruth, I kind of know firsthand that she's going to be someone you're going to see quite a lot of times. She's going to really sort of fly up here in the weight that she's going to be doing this with. For the GS competitions here, for international, she'll be looking to do this ultimately with a 16 kilogram, which is the weight that you've seen Deb use and we've seen Laura use from the WolfPack gym. So she will be looking to go up there a little bit, and reps for this really at the top end, you're looking at coming close to kind of 220, 240 reps. So a first target for Ruth is going to be one, survive for 12 minutes. That's going to be job number one for her, which would in its own be a starting feat, as she really is at the start of the journey. I think this is one of the first competitions she's really managed to get to in a long while. So as we're clearing the 2-minute mark into 3-minute mark, she's already at 41 reps. She's doing a good job here. Again, you're just starting to see her get that backswing with her free hand, but I'd like to see that more consistently through. She's got good breathing at the top. She's got a good fixation. She's looking pretty focused here. I know full well what first time nerves can be to lifters, so I'm fully ready to kind of expect that from her. But the set's on, it's going, and the first milestone in your head is making that first 3 minutes, which she's just about to come to. So you can now look that she's getting, basically dividing the set into quarters, and she's hitting 50. This is putting her on par to break 200. And breaking 200 is a good milestone for a mil snatch. Yeah, and it's nice and still overhead as well. We're nice and still to get another breath from the top. It's a good change. My thing is just that free hand. I like the free hand to really do some of the work as well. Really cock back and swing. She's doing it with her right pretty well. So can we get her to do it with her left pretty well? So can we get her to do it on her right? I'm not sure Del agrees with you on that. She might prefer Kettlebell Nation wrist guards. We can always ask him later. That's good. She's changing hands pretty low in the swing. So sometimes you're going to want to change higher up so you can't get more momentum. It becomes a factor the heavier the bell is. But it's still looking very nice overhead. Yeah, it's good that you can actually see that. So weight distribution on snatch and half snatch is really important, and it's something that you can really see the transfer of weight as from one side to the other as the bell goes up and down, and you're seeing that she's getting that pretty well. So this is the makers of a really good lift, and her pace is still nice and consistent, pulling in close to 80 reps now to get to the 7-minute mark. The next milestone is where is she with 6 minutes in, and then you know you're halfway through, and you kind of know in yourself if you can keep the pace or if you're going to start to lose the pace. Yeah. Everyone, you can see the shade of the sun with the bell, and as we go further, so we might be having a one-way conversation here. So I'm not sure Jenny's microphone was switched on. So, there you go. There we go. You might have heard it through mine.
All my words of wisdom have been lost.
So just remember everything you're saying for the last 6 minutes, Jenny.
So I was saying I love the breath that's coming at the top of every rep, a really nice relaxed breathing pattern. I'm liking the alternate foot taps and foot lifts and the transfer of weight that's going on.
So
I'm
this is one
the
thing actually
focus.
talking about transfer weight, Jenny. When the foot comes up, how hard is it to not let the foot come up, and how strict are the judges on the foot coming up in the competitions?
Oh, I don't think in Snatch they're worried about the foot coming off at all.
Not for GS?
No.
In IKMF it becomes a huge thing, doesn't it?
No,
I remember Alan Lyon
being
penalised on his cleans for his pent set, for his toe coming off the ground if you were going back there.
Yeah. I think on the pressing lifts, that whole four corners of the foot, as Steve Gordon would say. But that's something about Snatch. I will always have a heel up at some point, I think. It's got
its own rhythm to it, and she's doing it well. But again, those hand changes are a little low, but she's doing fixated, she gets to the halfway mark, and she's just on 98 reps. So she's just getting underneath that 200 rep mark. But I would say for a first lift on this, she's coming around the 170 to 180 reps is a really good show for herself. And that's where I think she's going to come in.
I'm getting a bit worried that she's quite near the back of the platform. It might be that her judge will call her forward a bit. She looks like she's going off the back to me. But that's
Yep, and
not
we're
a
now over the 100 reps. It's what she's doing very well, actually, Jenny, is when you're on your own on a platform, you really do have to focus on what you're doing. Because one, you get the sense everyone's watching you, and two, you don't get the energy of the other people on the platform. There's no one to really spur you on. There's no one to motivate you. So she's doing a very good job as a sole lifter.
Absolutely brilliantly.
I can remember my first ever international comp in the IKFF in Detroit in 2012. I did 16 KT biathlon and 20 snatch only, and my 20 snatch only, I was the only person on a row of 14 lifting platforms with an entire room of people watching me, and it was one of the most intimidating sets I've ever done. So she's doing a good job.
She's great. She's doing great. That 1,000-yard stare thing going on just says, I'm all over this. She probably hasn't even noticed she's got her hair hanging in her face. She just doesn't care. She's in the zone.
Yeah, it's very focused lift, actually. This is a good sign for her, for how inexperienced you might think she is as a lifter, to be really focused on this. When we get to the last 3 minutes of that last section, this is where you realise if you're surviving the set or if you can start to sprint. And the one thing here is, even though you can change hands, this still will start to pull on your forearm as you start to fatigue. And because of the pace you're going at, you are going to start to fatigue. So she's going to make a decision now in the last 3 minutes if it's let it fly or if it's just survive the set.
It's always interesting watching people's leg pattern and foot tap in Snatch, because the Russians, I believe, would say you should never have a foot off the ground. It's a straight leg at the back. But I just find, particularly with a lighter, quicker bell, that I will tap. I will lift one foot, then the other. So
Yeah, I
interesting
think
to know what
differences with the weight of the bell are a huge thing. I think the heavier the bellet is, the more it grounds me and the less I can move my body as well as I want to. And that becomes a point where I kind of ask the lifters, at what weight does the technique start to deteriorate? And I like the freedom because I'm not a big, in terms of body weight, I'm not a big lifter for the weight. So I like to be able to move as much of my body around the bell as possible. It's a nice rotation on the way down as well. Actually, that drop's looking very smooth. This is a great set by Ruth.
She's doing brilliantly.
And we're coming up to the last 3 minutes and we are hitting 140 reps. So she's looking really on set. If she gets another 50 here, she's going to come in just under 200, which is well within her sight here.
She looks to be in a good way with her hands. Sometimes you can get a bit of a blistering or a tearing.
There's no getting the bell up, resting and panicking and moving about like you sometimes see people doing. So this
she's not looked at her hands yet either. I
No,
worry when people look at their hands. So I was saying she's got her SKSF wrist guards on. She's wearing her Scottish wrist guards.
Hopefully we'll start seeing her come into the international comps and qualifying for it. It's a big Scottish team. It's a good Scottish team. They've got a very good program up there, and Yvonne's done a good job sort of in the last few years expanding it and really getting involved internationally. So it was good to go up to Scotland in the first part of the year and kind of meet together to do that first UK competition. And 2 minutes left. Okay, final 2 minutes to this. She's on at 155. So yeah, and you just a little bit of difficulty about the poise. Just starting to affect how far back she can go.
Yeah. So with snatches, you tend to get tired, your grip goes, and then the backswing becomes a really unpleasant thing.
Yeah.
And therefore, she's starting to have a minimal backswing and do what we might call a dead snatch.
But with the time left for it and the fact that she can change hands, you can still carry on this. I don't think it's going to affect her reps so much.
No.
You're starting to lose again. If you see the difference between the left and the right, she's moving that free hand behind her, but she's not coiling it to get the spring. It's just kind of passively moving. When she changes, you still get a better backswing on her right hand.
Yeah, I'm guessing she's right-handed because the right hand looks much more comfortable than the left.
And we're getting close to the last minute, and she's at 167, 168. So yeah, you're not going to pull out 30 reps in a minute, but she's going to get close. So you're going to come in at 170, 180 rep range here. And again, that changed a little low. Still nice fixation.
And sometimes dead snatch is a quicker way to do these last couple of minutes. If you don't need the backswing, just grab it back up again and fling it down. It's not sustainable to do that for very long, but if you're in your last few minutes...
If you last minutes and you can change hand again, it's not as big a fact. In GS, it becomes a real desperation. Can I get those last few reps out? But 30 seconds left, and she's going for it for a last minute. There's 180. She's going to hit a 190 rep here for sure. 30 seconds to go. And again, it's going behind her back rather than coiling up to give her more momentum. But it's something that we can work on.
This is one of those sets where the delight is that she has done it. She's back. She's made the time. She's had the... balls is the only word I can think of.
It is
she's had the balls to get back after injury and do this. It's horrible coming back.
Exactly well for 191, 192. That's a great strong set by Ruth. Okay, so we're going to set up for some more lifts now. We're going to go quiet.
Look at that smile.
Good smile on her face. She knows she's done it. She knows she's done herself proud.
She's back.
or gainer? Gainer's louder.
Please do not get in my way.
Good
You
to
cannot
start.
drop in my lane. Tires is burning the pain. You don't have nothing to say. This is
Yeah.
how legends are made. I know I got what it takes.
Thank you, Deb.
And I'm not popping the brakes. And I'm not popping the brakes. I'm too competitive.
All right. And stop. Have a reset here. Good. Okay. Save it for the after party. Okay. And we are back, ready for some good veteran lifters here, and some first-time lifters, and some welcome back lifters. So we have got, we are good to go. We have got Laura, Richard Freeman, and Dale Wilson. Dale coming back off an injury, wasn't going to lift, but he's come in before we go for it. And stop there, stop 1 sec, reset.
I can't tell what's going on. People keep on saying they're ready and then it's not. So is everyone ready to go? Yeah.
Just a bit of a false start here,
3,
which happens.
2, 1, and we're off.
They've got 30 minutes to catch up.
And we're finally off. Okay, so on platforms 1, we've got Laura on a 30-minute half snatch. On platform 2, we've got Elliot, who's doing an exhibition 10-minute set on clean and press. I'll talk about Elliot in a little bit. And on platform 3, we've got one of the more experienced lifters, Richard Freeman, on half an hour jerk with a fairly decent weight there for half an hour for him. And we've got Dale Wilson coming back. It's nice to see Dale Wilson back on the platform lift again on half an hour half snatch. Just give me 1 second to go quiet. So just realised we had someone lifting without a judge then for a second. So I'm sure Dale's counted his reps and we'll catch that up. So we can catch that up.
He'll know.
I was wondering whether Dale was. I knew he'd be counting his
19,
reps. He likes to know how many reps he's got.
Give me 19.
So we'll catch that up there. But Dale, it's nice to see him back again. So he's had quite a few runs of injuries, and he's decided coming in here. He was 50-50, so he's going to come and give it a go. So 20 kilogram bell weight for Dell. Now, Elliot here is someone that I've been working with a lot in conjunction with a neurophysio. And one thing that we've realized with his condition is that helping the coordination for him is doing things that involve a lot of work on his hand-eye coordination. So it's a good thing. He's a very competitive-minded person that I work with, and he decided when he heard about the competition that he wanted to come and have a go with it. So as we're 2 minutes in now, we'll catch Dell's score up. You kind of get these problems with the set. It's the first real hitch we've had. But we're making allowances for what Elliot can do. So he's lifting a 4 kilogram kettlebell, and on the left-hand side of his body, he really does have restrictions of movement. So we talked about what rep range he's going to get, and he's going to be doing a 10-minute set. But one of the reasons why I thought it would be good for him to come and do this lift is it kind of highlights how inclusive this sport is. And even at the international level, we have people that have slight adjustments and lift either in wheelchairs or even lift with like assisted use. So I didn't want anyone to feel that they were going to be excluded from the sport. So we've got him in here for another 7.5 minutes. And the longest he's lifted with me is a 6-minute set, but he's in a good position, and he's got family who are there watching and cheering him on. He's really getting to grips now with the concepts of trying to clean it and trying to get as full extension as he can. And on that right, he's doing a great job. Now, back to the score system, we've got a lot of time to talk about this. So Laura Grant on an 18 kilogram bell, 3 minutes in, and she's just shy of 10 reps a minute. So half marathons is something you do a lot with, Jenny.
Yeah.
And what do you think for all 3 bells here, different lifts? But Dell and Laura, opposite the platform, but both on half snatch. What's going to be one of the biggest factors for lasting half an hour? Because some people here, this is the first half an hour set we've shown. Yeah.
So for me, this is going to be all about pacing. I know it sounds really dull, but if I'm doing a 30-minute set, I'll know how many reps I'm going to do every 30 seconds. I'll know exactly when I'm going to change, and I'll just get into that rhythm. And if I break that rhythm, I'm in trouble. But for me, it's just that total repetition over and over again, consistency, and I'll train that.
Dell's one of the most experienced lifters we've got here, so like he knows exactly what he's doing.
He does.
Laura's really found her home on the England team. When we work with Laura, what Laura likes to do is a very similar thing to you. She likes to have a consistent pace throughout the entire set, and when it breaks, it really kind of like fumbles her mindset. On this weight, it's going to be to see a big challenge with her with the elbow injury she's had and the little niggles in her shoulder and her back. The question is, can she keep this pace at this weight? Because 18 kilograms is one of the heaviest we've seen her do for half an hour, and she's a little bit quick for what she wants. So it's interesting you talk about pacing, because you really see it over a half-hour set. If you take this to kind of the equivalent of running a 10K, you know, kilometer by kilometer, you kind of know where you are with it, but you very rarely can split the distances consistently. Whereas in kettlebell sports, there's no uphill or downhill or corners to navigate like in a race. So you should, in theory, be able to keep that pace throughout the whole 30 minutes.
But I would expect she's got plan A, which is the one we're talking about, and then she'll have plan B, which you might need a plan B when your hands get sore, when your hands tear, with that elbow injury on the left arm. She might have to switch to mainly right rather than left. So I would imagine she's got various strategies depending on how it goes.
Now Elliot's just halfway. He's got a smile on his face. He's still going. There's a little bit of fatigue in that bicep there. He's trying to hunch over. So in training, you want to try and stay upright to protect his back. But what happens is he'll want to do less reps on his left than on his right. And what I'm worried about in the extended time is just a bit of fatigue on his right. Again, he's going a little bit too quick. For how I'd ideally like him doing it. Now, the heat's just going to start to become a factor here because the sun's out. You can see the shadow line creeping towards those platforms. But Laura, so far, 45 reps as we're getting to just beyond 5 minutes. So she's coming around 8 to 9 reps a minute, which is kind of where we want. Can you hold it for another 25 minutes?
I think she can. What I'm interested with Dell is, I know Dell's was a left arm injury. I know he's posted a lot of sets online where he would be doing almost all right and practically no left, but he looks like he might be doing it pretty equally.
Well, he did say that he felt a lot better. I mean, one of the interesting things of this was I assumed it was a kettlebell injury in his elbow, but in reality he was saying it was like an accidental injury, just lifting and shifting stuff, which can become a real factor with it, because if it's an injury to do with the sport, you have those, like you're about hands, you have tactics for how to change it. But when it's a knock or a bruise or something like that, and it's not related to the sport, you don't really know how to negate it, how to offset it. The only thing you can kind of think is either I can lift with that hand or I can't. So, you know, where it's gone wrong, lifters are kind of left doing like 8 reps on one arm and 2 reps on another. And it's really, really hard to get a tactic for that other than survive to set.
I'm interested in Laura's elbow injury because I remember talking to her, I think it was in January when we were doing the 2-hour lift, and she had a similar strap on the other arm as well. And she said, I've got tennis elbow in one arm and golfer's elbow in the other.
Yeah.
And I know tennis elbow well, unfortunately. I hadn't heard of golfer's elbow. Do you know whether this is the tennis elbow or the golfer's elbow that's got the strap on?
It's on her left, which I think was the original one she had going into the 2-hour lift. So I think it's the original niggle she had, which was tennis elbow. It's basically it's on the outside of the elbow rather than the inside of the elbow. It's still tennis. It's still tendonitis, so it's still just inflammation and kind of like micro tears in the ligament. So it's still exactly the same issue, just a different place of it. I think if I remember right, it was the 2-hour set that brought it all on. But ironically, she says that the 2-hour set was one of them, and I'll agree with her, and you might as well. It was actually one of the most enjoyable sets to do, and we've got enough time to talk about it. So it's one of these things that it changed my mindset to the sport, because once you know you can last 2 hours, the concept of doing half an hour or 10 minutes is just never going to faze you. And before you've done it, this concept of will I last half an hour can become a real daunting factor, or an hour with lifters' mindset. Whereas Laura, she's a very, very determined lifter. She's got a real good mentality to it. Even when the sets don't go her way, she really kind of grits it out. So I've got no doubt she'll last for time.
Yeah.
But in that training, it's definitely where those niggles kind of come out. And maybe she's talked about the idea of doing the 2-hour set again, whereas some people have said, never in my life will I ever do it again.
Oh God, I would do it again tomorrow. Well, I wouldn't. I'd do a bit more training before that, but nothing about that put me off at all.
No, I've done 3 now, and I think I'm going to find a challenge. So I'm going to ask permission from IKMF to attempt to do it with the 32 kilogram bell, and if I can pull that off, I'm just not that I don't want to do it again. I just want to give somebody else a chance to do it. So you have to get permission to get it a sanctioned IKMF lift, and we only get so many of them sanctioned. And I think that's right, because it's not something you just let people do just when they feel like it. It's a very extreme challenge, and it does come with certain dangers. But I feel like once you prove the point with it, you should let other people have a go. So I know Gaynor said that she would do it again, but again, it's a case of, do you want to let somebody else have a turn with it?
Yeah.
But I think it's a really good set to do, and I think it just proves to yourself that you really are like very, very resolved. Obviously your cardio has to be in condition, but it really is a mental fitness test rather than anything else.
And it's one of those things that is really good in terms of building technique, because it is effectively 1,500 reps that you're going to do, and you've got the chance, because you're not rushing, because you've got to last 2 hours, you've got the chance to perfect every single one of those reps.
That's a big factor with it. It's how, again, it's that concept of, do you have the skill to make every rep the same? And in your head, you're just thinking, let's just, like when you're doing a long run, you're not thinking what mile you run, you're just thinking, get the next step. As Elliot hits for 10 minutes.
Lovely smile from Elliot there as he finishes.
182 reps, which is a great set for 10 minutes. And that's him done. And that's I'm really proud that he did that. That's a good lift for him. He's going to be buzzing with that. That's a great result. We don't really know what reps Dell's on, but we'll get that platform working again. But he's certainly looking like he's got a consistent pace. And now it's down to Laura, Rich, and Dell to finish this off. 10 minutes gone, just under 20 minutes to go. And we've got Rich at 215, and Laura's just getting close to a 100 meter mark. So yeah, she's coming in just a little slower than 9 reps a minute now.
And again, Laura's half snatch, she's got the option to rest in 2 different positions, the arm fully extended right now, or the rack where she is just now. And she clearly favours resting above.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see whether that changes as she gets tired.
Now that's an interesting choice at that weight, because that weight's going to become a factor overhead.
Absolutely.
I've only ever seen this work where the athlete's got a real strength advantage over a cardio advantage. But in half snatch, I like Laura to have an even rhythm, a breath at the top, full breath cycle at the top, and then half a breath at the bottom, and then straight into the next rep. Bingo. And again, one thing I really work with Laura is rest before the change. So hopefully as the set comes up and she needs more rest, as you're right, she is starting to rest overhead quite a lot. We're just starting to see a little bit in her face that it's just starting to get tough here. She's got a definite bounce when it hits the rack to go in to get momentum, and boom. And the only other thing you're on about things that can go wrong is she's had issues with her skin in the hands, and the hands have gone in a couple of training sets. So we've deloaded her leading up to this, but there's that question of, at that weight with chalk, are the hands going to rip? And if the hands rip, then you go into survival mode straight away.
And it's one of those lifts where if she wants an assistant, she can have an assistant, particularly in the IKMF half marathon. So if she needed chalk, she could get more chalk.
Normally, she likes to have a belt and have the chalk on her. She normally likes to chalk herself, which I think she's gone. But it also, do you have someone that can give you water as it starts to get hotter and hotter in here? But we're reaching up to halfway, same for this. So if you're watching a thing of what is a half marathon, if you're not used to just watching someone lift, it's 30 minutes of non-stop lifters. So classifications in different companies. In the IKMF, if the bell goes down before the time's on, you have a did not finish, which it means you get a 0 count. For other companies, you're allowed to put the bell down, and then your score is your score. Once it's done, you can't stop. But in the concept of it is you want to finish the set and you want to finish the time. So if any of these 3 lifters put the bell down, their score gets put to 0. So you have that mental battle, particularly if the set's not going your way, that you have to finish the set. And Rich seems pretty confident here. Dell seems pretty confident. Rich is coming in. So Rich is going to break potentially 500 reps here in half an hour, which is a real decent feat on a 20 kilogram bell.
We haven't mentioned Rich 18. Much, but he's a machine, isn't he? He's in his rhythm. He's in his zone. double hand change allowed in jerk, which is what Rich is doing, which is just that little bit safer, but also quicker, particularly when you're fatigued.
Now, one thing to talk about here for jerk is because you're going to be set in that position, we have a tactic of cleaning the bell high onto the shoulder and then slotting it into where you want to go, because the difference between long cycles, you get to re-clean every rep, which you don't get on jerk. So as he changes here, there's much more importance in setting that bell there, and the aim is to have it land back right in the same spot, which is something that if you want to talk about lifters, I always say it's something that Johnny Skinner always impresses me with. It's the ability, no matter if it's a 32 kilogram, 24 kilogram, or 40 kilogram bell, he lands it right exactly where he wants it, which Rich is doing here on his right. And the bell's coming right back into the pocket, right underneath the elbow, so that he can launch it with the elbow underneath the bell, and he's never having to muscle it up. Anatomically, it's lined really nicely over the quad, and then he's going to change, and changing a little low there. I'd put it slightly higher, but he knows what he's doing with it. And again, can you land it with the elbow right underneath, right in your pocket?
It's got an interesting hand angle, particularly on this side, where the bell is almost the base of the bell is against the bicep, whereas lots of athletes would have the turned
it's almost
a little
like a
bit
double
further
hand
round.
grip that
It is
people
like a
have when you
double
want to make
hand.
more room to get the bell away from the chest. As Laura's just starting to take that first struggles in her rest, and she's just there, rest before the swing, and then we're up. But she's looking pretty focused, pretty collected. I've been over to the athletes, and the temperature under there is okay. The sun's not quite come up there, but it is coming. So the people that are lifting in the next few hours are going to be lifting like right direct in the sun, as we're going to focus on the shade. But it's always a factor in these outdoor competitions.
So I'm guessing Amy is sitting at the back there, ready to assist anybody that needs anything. Your choice of wingman in a competition.
Big choice.
Big choice.
You always remember it as well. I always remember you doing my first one back on the platform after COVID in France. I'll never forget that. When I was 20 minutes to go, and I was saying I can't finish it, and I had no sympathy from you whatsoever, which is what I needed to win my first gold. But I also remember, you remember cornering people when you get into it. I remember doing Gary Robswell's set in Spain, where his hands went. And that became a very dramatic finish.
There was a lot of blood, blood at that one.
In fact, we started introducing policies after that, because I think that's the first time it got highlighted there was a genuine problem. And we are well in the halfway set now. So Laura's just started to really slow down on the reps per minute, but she's looking nice and focused. Again, she's definitely resting more overhead, which it's not a surprise. It's just a tactic that I wouldn't take.
I've got no doubt that she's going to finish this set, though. I don't think she's loving it, but she's certainly not going to stop.
It's still going up there nicely.
Yeah.
We just need a bit of time in between.
Yeah, hands seem fine.
What she's still doing nice is she's resting overhead. She's sticking to that format. When the bell comes down, it's just going straight into the next rep. The judge doesn't have to fixate on the way down. So it really is just hit, back into the quads, drop it into your backswing, hit. And then hopefully this is her resting before she changes. And there's the change, and that's what I like to see, because as a tactic, you're not burning the muscle out while you're recovering and then attempting another weight. And the heavier the bell is, the more of a tactic I like to see this with her.
I'm always interested in the relationship that you get with your judge, particularly in these longer sets. And when I first started lifting, you almost fear your judge. And then there comes a time when you realise, actually, your judge wants you to do well. They don't want to trip you up and catch you out. They want you to do well. They want you to finish your set.
There's the judge, and then sometimes there's the head judge, and that can be a different relationship altogether. No, I mean, there's tactics in this. I mean, I've talked to some people, and I've done this before at the bigger competitions, where you almost test the judge in the first 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
So you kind of go, well, can I drop it a little bit quicker, and do I get away with it?
Yeah.
And then you kind of then work out where you stand with them, what they're going to allow, what they're not going to allow.
And if you know the judge, as in you know their reputation, you know their numbers, you know their
what you
lifts,
can get away with.
You'll know what you'll get away with.
All sports at the top end have that. You talk about top level of court-based sports, the referees, you know what they want to see, what they don't want to see, what you can get away with and what you can't. For this weight bell as well, it's starting to get to the point where she's not using the use of the backhand. It's staying pretty solid there. Whereas if you watch Dale, that backhand's still coming back just as it was in the first 10 minutes of the set, as we get close to our last 10-minute mark.
But kudos to Laura. She's using the same weight of Belle, I think. Well, certainly as Rich and possibly Dell as well. Can't tell whether Dell's on a 20 or an 18, but Laura's on the same weight, so good for her.
Yeah, I've not got Dell's bell weight up on there. Look, if I look right with my sniper vision, I think that's a 20.
I would expect it to be a 20.
Around it, so I'm saying that's a 20. And Laura taking her breaths in there, and again, hopefully it's a change. So she's been really consistent there, and she's changed after. So she changed after the rest. So it's a rest first, then a change of the rep, and she knows
she's still smiling. She's still chatting.
Now that you're with this, and like I said about the marathons, in the half marathon, it's a game of 10 minutes, and the first 10 minutes are pretty comfortable. The middle 10 minutes, you kind of really test your pace and your fitness, and that's where it starts to get a bit of a bad place to go. And the last 10 minutes, you suddenly think, I can do this. I've only got 10 minutes left. So it becomes a different mindset, and she's just starting to grimace on the backswing on her left. So I think she's just having some pain in the hands.
The single figure on the clock is, for me, so important.
Yes, yeah.
Just that switch from 10:01 to 9:59 is immense.
Yeah.
A big fan of the headband, like Laura's wearing. I think it's the sweat in the contact lenses for me is a big deal. And I'm stunned that Dell and Rich have not gone for this important accessory in their lifting. Rich looking very, very comfortable. I don't know whether you can see it, but there is some wetness on Rich's t-shirt, not just the sweat, but sometimes people will wet their t-shirt where their elbow lands, just exactly where Rich's elbow is there is a bit of a wet mark. And that's the idea, that you have a wet t-shirt to fix your elbow when you drop from the lift, to stop the bell from flying off anywhere, and particularly in jerk where there isn't a clean every rep. You just want that kettlebell to land, so that wet t-shirt can really, really help that. And sometimes people will chalk their elbows. I'm interested that Laura's got the chalked shoulder approach, and with the half snatch where that bell comes down in a minute and is there going to rest on her shoulder. Again, if you're sweating like a pig, you do not want that bell slipping off your shoulder, so that chalk can just enable you to control that drop a little bit better.
I've only got one mute for both you and Jenny, so it's just one control.
Okay, so we're getting to the last stretch now, and you wouldn't think that 8 minutes is the last stretch, but in a half marathon, you can see with Dell that he knows he can increase the pace because he knows where he is. He's done so many sets with really experienced lifters. They kind of know where their hands are, know where their cardio is, know what their body's telling them. So Dell's now, if I could see his reps, you could clarify it, he's definitely upping his pace because he knows he can handle 8 minutes at this pace. And you get that just through experience, just through training sets, competition sets. One thing that is good doing it here is you can see with the flags, you can see the breeze, so you can see that there is air moving through it. And one of the hardest things to do is lift when there's no air in the room, when it's really still and it gets humid and everything just turns wet, everything's slimy. Whereas with that breeze coming through, cooling them, for the last few minutes, they're going to have a little bit more of an edge to just let the bell fly, know the end's in sight, and just ease it home. And you can see a bit of an internal conversation going on with Laura now in her head. It's starting to get serious. She knows she's done a good lift. And again, nice hand. And she's only really starting to struggle on her left. So I'm guessing there's a little tear there, or potentially that elbow is playing up a little bit.
She's still with us though. She knows what's going on. She's interacting with the crowd. I'm sure she's interacting with James. James is going to be a great supporter as a judge as well, and that will get her through.
So we'll have that find out later on to see what bell weight James selects with this. He's had a few conversations with me, but
he told me 30 just now.
30. It'd be nice to see that.
That would be great.
So I mean, he won't need a magnet. I've got the 30 kilogram bells here, so that's going to be an advantage for him, because I'm assuming he hasn't had to train with a 30 without a magnet, which does make a big difference. That's an interesting choice on long cycle with a 30. Lewis, be close to see. It'd be interesting to see how close he gets to 10 reps a minute.
I think it's new for him. It's I said earlier in commentary that he's a man that can lift heavier than he's ever shown us, and this I think is going to be quite a challenge for him. And quite right, I think he'll do it no problem
Yeah, it'll be
at all.
good to see. It'll be good to see. I mean, it gives you that confidence getting close to that big red 32, which is 30 minutes with that bell. I've had so many sets that have really broken your heart getting towards the end of it, and I've had so many sets that have kind of ended up going my way. But it'd be nice to see how he manages it. But he gets to choose on the day, so you can be 50-50. You can make your mind up literally 10 seconds before the bell goes up what bell you have. But once you picked it, you're stuck with it for 30 minutes, which can play in your mind the first time you go heavier. And Laura now, you know you're nearly there. You know there's only 5 minutes left, but you still got to lift for 5 minutes, which is easier said than done. I think she knows that when she has to change hands now onto that left, and it's going to start to be a game of kind of battling through the pain. The grip on the hand becomes a problem. She does, if you watch it, Jenny, she does really grip that bell at the top. She doesn't really
she
like
doesn't
to let
open
go.
her fingers much at the top.
She never has, and
No.
the one thing about Laura is she is very set in what she wants and how she likes to lift. So when you're coaching her, it's not that she'll just sort of blindly follow. If that's how she likes to lift, that's how she will lift.
Yeah.
It's much more a waste of kind of like working with how she wants to do it. At this weight, you have that thing of, is it going to become a challenge as you start to sweat, as the hands start to tear?
And the risk here is that you're going to drop the bell. When you've done 25 plus minutes, you do not want to drop the bell, but your grip is going, you're sweaty, your hands are wet with sweat, they might be wet with blood. Lifting with blood is horrendous.
The one thing she does do is she does check the hand, and she hasn't checked her hands yet.
No.
It's the one thing I always see her do when I know it's starting to tear. So I'm thinking it might actually be her elbow that's becoming the problem here rather than her actual hand. And it's not landing. When your hand's gone, again, you do that deadlift hinge, and she's not really deadlifting. So I think the only issue with her left is that elbow. As you watch there, it's definitely affected her on the way up.
And we talked earlier about the choice of wingman, and for me, in a competition like this, I would be thinking of Graham Morris as my wingman, because Graham, very, very supportive, but he's very good with chalk. He's very good with hand injuries. Like a boxer's got their person with the Vaseline. Graham is your chalk man.
It's one of those guys that they've been to so many big moments, and sometimes it's nice to have someone in your back that you know has done it when you're going through it. I don't think there's a competition that Graham hasn't gone and been there and done it, and that makes a huge factor. Just confidence of having somebody there with you.
It's hugely calming. I remember in Denmark when I had a crazy moment and did 3 marathons in the morning. I think he might have been my wingman for all of them.
I thought you just called that Tuesday, Jenny.
And he was singing. He was singing along to all the songs behind me. And I remember Slade coming on, "Come on, feel the noise." And I just remember Graham having just a lovely time singing away behind me. And it was just the job,
I remember going to all the old grassroots comps with Graham, and I remember how encouraging, when I was a new lifter and when I was really kind of like very fresh to the sport, and him and Maxine were those people that are just always there to greet you, always there to make you feel welcome. And it's weird, no matter how experienced you are as a lifter, you always kind of remember those moments. They always be, you remember, no matter what big moments you've been in, you remember what it's like to be rocking up to a gym, you don't know anyone, and you're new to the sport, and having people like that really help.
And we still don't know what Dell's count is because we've got a bit of a tech issue. I don't think I've ever been to a competition where a timer hasn't broken at some point, or something technical hasn't happened. My very first competition, I had no timer and no judges count either. And you just carry on. Yeah, you do.
Once the bell's in the air and the bell started. I also think I'm pretty happy with the fact that Al's managed to handle something not go right and keep with it. I was expecting to have to stop and fix it. So he's actually managed to relax and let the set go and let it carry on. So I'm quite happy with that. And you can tell Dell now knows he's near towards the end because, again, he's going that second gear. You know 2 minutes to go. You know you're going to survive it. Whereas you're seeing on Laura here, it's just starting to affect her on the way down now. So you see there, she's just there. You're seeing it's going to get her. And she's going to try and do as much as she can in her right before she changes to her left, because even though she wants to accelerate, you know she can't get the same amount of reps on that right, because that left is starting to bother her there. you're going to see it on the drop, and there you're really starting to see it's definitely that elbow on the way up, which where it is for tennis elbow on the outside of the elbow, that's where you feel it on the way up with the bell there. So to pull in 230 reps on it when you know that elbow is bothering you is a good job.
It's always interesting when the crowd gets very animated for the last minute, because when you're lifting, you don't need that in the last minute, because you're going to do that last minute. You needed it about 20 minutes previously.
Also, it's hard to watch a 30-minute set or an hour set, because you're just standing there, and it becomes a thing for you to stick with someone through it. It's one thing that I do like about this gym and this group, is that everybody's there to support each other, really through the entirety of it. And no matter how much Laura's beaten up now, she's going to be cheering for everybody all day.
She will.
And 45 seconds left, so you're coming to the end. Laura's going to pull in a 250, which is a solid score in an 18. I'm not sure where that comes in terms of PB, but she's given a good show of it. And 30 seconds. And Richard Freeman's going to pull out a 600 rep here.
Yes.
And again, we'll find out what Dell's score was towards the end. But 20 seconds to go.
So all looking very, very comfortable. I haven't seen Rich do one of his thumbs up cheeky smiles.
There's not a smile or a thumbs up. That's because Dell's not on his camera to do it, so we'll have to get it later.
But I think metaphorically he's doing it.
Finally, he's just going to hold there for it to let go out. 3, 2, 1, and Amy's going to, Laura's going to just take in a 251. Elliot finished at 182, Richard Freeman at 601, and Dell Wilson yet to be confirmed, but great lifting there by everybody. And as simple as that, we're going to reset and it's on to the next one.
Shout me out. This not for you, I'm trying to make me proud. This not for you, I'm trying to make me proud. In the mirror, say it loud. Lock in, lights, camera, action. Telly, SPN, it's a top thing. Lock in, lights, camera, action. I don't fold a band when it's time to win. Trolling cause we're rolling under lights, we don't get anxious. Do it with a purpose, we don't do it to be famous. Really, they been hating cause they ain't us. Lock in and get dangerous.
Yes, that 169, mate. Yeah, $1 million pep. Let us know where you're at, we'll bring that right down. Yeah.
Look. Roll up, call the hotline, come phone up. Yeah, the one down to the shoulder. Stacking up, no folder. Hold up, roll up. Got on running around for the gold rush. All around the town like Nola. I was on the way for the soda. Hold up, roll up. Call the hotline, come phone up. Yeah, the one down to the shoulder. Stacking up, no folder. Hold up, roll up. Got on running around for the gold rush. All around the town like Nola. I was on the way for the soda. Hold up.
Alright, calm down, love. Yeah, like I said, $1 million peppers half price tonight. That's 500 bags of sand and a free tomato for you, you cheeky girl. Alright then, will that be cash or card, my dear?
Look, I was outside, I was putting work in the field all night. Planting that seed, then I get mad. That's how I be when you goes inside. I was on time, yeah, I was on time. Bro, make sure I did the crop just right. Chop this down and I hop this fly. Straight fuckadelic, we work for the get it with the fart, then I'm at the back door. Hey, Billy John, come and daddy rap more. 169 running with the cat. Daddy running back, you know the trap roll. Cat dog, running them on the encore. Basement, killing them out of the trap door. Hey, Billy rocking and dropping them on the floor. Hot, pepper, top, stepper, hey. Roll up, call the hotline, come phone up. Yeah, the one down to the shoulder. Stacking up, no folder. Hold up, roll up. Got on running around for the gold rush. All around the town like Nola. I was on the way for the soda. Hold up, roll up. Call the hotline, come phone up. Yeah, the one down to the shoulder. Stacking up, no folder. Hold up, roll up. Got on running around for the gold rush. All around the town like Nola. I was on the way for the soda. Hold up.
Okay, now then, people. Let me tell you how I stumbled upon this mystical seed. Let's kind of bear the fruits that we've all now come to know and cherish as our beloved $1 million pepper. Alright, calm down, love.
Look, one late night, on the way home in the dark, no light. Found couple seeds with a note by a tree. Said plant me, cat deli, it's time. Jumped in the field with a lightning strike. Shit got real, can't believe my eye. Then I jumped in the ride. Get it with the front, then I'm at the back door. Hey, Billy John, come and daddy rap more. 169 running with the cat. Daddy running back, you know the trap roll. Cat dog, encore. Basement, killing them out of the trap door. Hey, Billy rocking the step up.
As easy as that. We go, money in the bag, you know what I mean? Proper old stuff. Gotta get it nowhere else. Listen, if you find some muppet on the street, even if he says he said $1 million pepper, I'll just give you your money back, you know what I mean? It's nothing to me. Cause no one, and I mean no one, yeah? And I'll put down my little son live his life, right? No one ain't got my say to manufacture $1 million pepper. Yeah, money in the bag.
Roll up, call the hotline, come phone up. Yeah, the one down to the shoulder. Stacking up, no folder. Hold up, roll up. Got on running around for the gold rush. All around the town like Nola. I was on the way for the soda. Hold up, roll up. Call the hotline, come phone up. Yeah, the one down to the shoulder. Stacking up, no folder. Hold up, roll up. Got on running around for the gold rush. All around the town like Nola. I was on the way for the soda. Hold up.
Okay, so we are back now for another interesting set here. So we're going to have the tail end of the biathlon, which is going to be Snatch set. We've got Jenny Whitcomb, who is going to be doing, I believe, a double half snatch set. And then we got Magda, who, again, a big time lifter Magda, getting ready for her first World Games set next year in America. Who's doing an IKMF half snatch World Games on a 24 kilogram belt. We've talked about what weight she's going to try here with Magda, as you guys might have seen her put on social media with a 30 kilogram half snatch, and we are off. So you know Magda can lift that heavy belt, but it's that 10-minute marker, and see how far out she puts that hip and see how she gets that dip and then still comes up to fixate on every rep. So she's a really skilled lifter, and she's definitely the strongest trained she's been. Bear in mind, it's not that long ago she took time out to have a baby, so to get back onto this weight this quick has been an exceptional amount of work. And Jenny here with her 2.8, she's on double jerk, my apologies, not double half snatch, and Tina on her GS snatch for her biathlon. And so Tina gets one hand change during this set. And the way they add the points up for this is you get 1 rep per double jerk, and you get half a rep for every snatch set you get. She can put the bells down anytime that she wants, but then the score is there, it's permanent. Okay? And we're joined now with one-time England kettlebell team member, Poppy Mel. So Poppy, just say hi to everyone who's watching at home.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So what has been one of your favourite memories doing this sport internationally or here at the gym?
Probably when we were here at the gym for a competition and I finally beat my friend.
Okay, that was 2 years ago with Sienna. Yeah. You had a nice little rivalry with her. So you and her competed in Belgium together, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. What's been one of your other experiences going abroad and competing abroad that's been fun?
Probably traveling and also the water parks.
Going to the water parks. Okay, so we're on about going to Hungary in November. So is that what you're looking forward to again?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, how she didn't actually say anything about competing whatsoever. So just purely there to travel and go to some cool water parks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can respect that. Fair enough. Right. So 2 minutes in now, and Tina's still looking good. See, with the fact this is her first lift, you can see that the backswing's not 100% there. She's kind of hinging a little bit. I'd like to see that bell go further behind her, but she's still getting a good pace. With this being a light bell to what she's used to lifting for her training set, it's got a little bit of a bounce at the top, a little bit of fun, a bit of experience, calming the nerves a bit of stability, and that will start to go, particularly when you use a slightly heavier bell. Magda on her pace pulling in 22 reps in 2.5 minutes, so she's really just under 10 reps a minute on a 24 kilogram bell. That dip's looking really solid. That bell's looking nice and sturdy overhead there. And again, their bounce, change, and up. She's really off to a good start here as you get to the 3 minute mark. And she's at 25 minutes. She's going to come in around 26, 27 reps in 3 minutes. So 9 points per minute. If she can keep this up, she's going to have a 90 rep set, which is really thoroughly through. And 3 minutes gone now, and she's on 28 reps, and Jenny on 50 for her double jerk. And Maria on 53 reps there for snatch. So she's got really about a minute before she's going to start thinking about changing hand. And it's not looking like the grip is really affecting her too much. So we're not looking like she's in any danger here. But you've still got 90 seconds to go, ideally, before she will flip. And Magda still looking strong here at 31 reps on this 24. So edging slightly under 9 reps a minute now, but she's looking sturdy here. Nice backswing, good dip underneath the bell, good fixation. And again, having that breath at the top really, really helps. And boom, breath, stand, and down. And 1. And she's ready there and just very still at the top, very confident. And Jenny now coming in at 65. And there's that hand change there early, but a little bit earlier than she's normally done. But she's actually got a very nice hand change there, very smooth. And now she's going to pick a bit of speed up. And again, there's still a bit of hinging. The work we've done on that backhand, she's not really using that backhand at the moment, but she's got a nice open grip over the bell. And Jenny looking calm as ever here, nice and collected. Bell's again landing exactly where she wants. And the rep range she's coming in, well over 10 a minute, commit 76 reps as we get to the halfway. She's looking at she's going to break a 140 rep range there. And Magna looking very good for an 80 rep set here. And there you go, halfway through. Now the thing here is your first 41 reps in the first 5 minutes, that's something. But you've got 5 minutes left of lifting a 24 kilogram kettlebell, but she's doing a really good stand underneath the bell with that hip dip. She's got a less than orthodox spacing, so her feet are quite wide, which means you're going to lose a bit of momentum on them. But she's dipping down well, and she's standing well with it. A little bend in the quads there and you rest. So the more she rests there, that's going to be a factor. But nice backhand, nice dip, good stand. Slight lean of the hip that kind of helps balance. Everything's looking good here. This is making it a really good set as she hits 45 reps. And Jenny hits 90. And the security guard's just welcoming some guests here. And Tina's just about to make 100 reps here. So she's set for a good 120, 130 repper. And 101 reps there for Tina, as Magna just about to break 50 reps. So if she wants to put her foot down here, she's got 70, 80 reps to go. And there she is, nice change, off she goes. 2 more, 1 more left to hit 50. And we're starting to see some other athletes get ready. We've got James Sandals coming up here with his half an hour long cycle set, and we're hoping to see some big things off him, as it's about ready in his career now to really get onto the international level and really start getting himself up there. And 3.5 minutes to go now. Coming up, we've got Deb's World Game set, Al's World Game set, and then of course we've got a big clash on the 40 kilograms with 4 good solid World Games lifters. Lukey getting set to have an amazing set, as we kind of expect from him, but a good solid lineup there. And Magna in there at 51. 3 minutes to go, and you can see now the pace has to stop, but she's resting well. She's resting better on her right than she is on her left. She's much more upright, and your quad, if you start to rest and your quad's bent and your legs bent, your quad's taking a lot of that damage, and then you're going to try and work with it. So she's starting to feel her pains. It really is a hard task. She's changing every 2 or 3 reps. It's a good change, and that's a good stand. And the sun's just about to start hitting these platforms, so the temperature's going to start being a much bigger factor over the next half-hour set. But she's picking up the pace now, and we get to our final quarter here, so 2.5 minutes to go. And Tina's done herself a really good, solid set here of her jerk and a snatch. She's at 130, so she's had a really good first day, first competitive set for her. First time in a competition. She stayed collective. You can see, again, similar to Ruth, she's got a good focus. She's not feeling daunted. She knows there's 2 minutes left and the end's in sight. She's now on a strong arm. And I always say on GS, some coaches differ, but I always say start on your weak arm, and then if you get into trouble, you've got your stronger arm to finish off. So, she does have to do sort of 5.5 minutes on this arm because she changed a little early, but at least you're in your strong arm doing it. And Jenny looking very confident on a 130 reps here, as Magna's getting a set to break 60. And I may stand her, but I think 64 reps is her PB. So she's looking definitely set to beat 64 reps. And she's got Lukey there in her corner and Marcel in her corner. And nice fixation there as she hits 60 there. I don't know if there's a bit of a mix-up here with the counter. I'm not sure all her reps are coming in, because I make her now at about 61 or 62. We'll have to watch it back and get a verification, but either way, she's well clear to beat 64 with 1 minute 10 to go. And Jenny Witt come in at 138. We have had a few problems on that counter system, so it may not be 100% there, but there's 61, and we've now got that last minute to go, and you know the end's in sight. It's just a case of you want to go quick, but every rep takes so much out of you at this weight. Jenny looking like nothing's really phased her here. She hits 144, so she's hitting 15 reps a minute on jerk, as Tina looking set to get 16 reps a minute. Straight off the platform, you're on YouTube with me now, so you might as well. Off the platform, you don't get a lot of time to structure yourself, but really quickly, how are you feeling now?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So,
definitely going to stay for another one?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of progression here. There's a lot of things that went well. Set went really well, and you changed early on your snatch. When you changed early, were you thinking you'd still last the whole 10 minutes?
No, I was a bit worried, but yeah. I was fine actually.
What in our training sets and our test sets, you've been pretty much bang on 5 minutes. So what happened to make you change it early?
Just a bit of scareness and insecurity, really.
Okay,
and
wait.
new experience. So
no, that's
I was
fine.
Worried
yeah,
that I'm not going to last.
The other thing
it's
was
a stronger hand. So
I always say to change into a strong hand, but now that you've done, you've got the adrenaline, you've got the buzz of the atmosphere. We've got more competitions coming. We've got grassroots in November, and then we've got some more GS competitions you can do later on in the year. How are you feeling about going forward with this and doing more of it?
Yeah, I want to do more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all right, brilliant. Go enjoy celebrating. Go tell everyone how well you've done, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thanks. Yeah.
And you can see there with Magda, you can see how much it means to people that have done these sets. And there's one thing about Magda is the amount of work that she's done, the amount of effort that she's put into it. it really means a lot to these lifters when sets go their way, and when you see the training pay out. It's a heavy build to go through, and the conditions are now just going to start to get a little bit tougher because the sun is just going to start coming out, whether you can see it or not. So we're going to be around 25 degrees to 30 degrees in here with very little shelter from it. And the next sets will start to get tougher and tougher and tougher.
So there's probably a load of stuff in here, in the Intermission. Okay. It's all the same as Fix. Oh, okay. So is it Laura or is it... Oh, no, it's...
Good so far. And Gainer, so with Gainer, she'd normally be on a 20 or a 22 kilogram belt by now, but she's had a big offset towards the start of last year, which was a significant back injury which she got running. So at one point we didn't know if she was ever going to get into a kettlebell competition again. That's how significant the injury was. But we've had a long amount of rehab and we've had a long dose of physio, and she got the green light to lift really kind of like a month ago. So to get her back on a platform with any bell in hand is a great result to see. With that bell as well, I've told her not to come out the gate flying and see how it is. So at 13 reps, 14 reps in the first minute, it's nice to know she listens to me. Just once in her life, it'd be nice to know she listens to me, to be perfectly honest.
Is that out of the gate flying or not?
Well, it's maximum reps for a long cycle for IKMF, and she'll probably stay on that for the first few minutes. One thing she did a real good job with her injury was she was here 6 in the morning every morning on a row machine, on a ski erg, on a spin bike, so she's kept her cardio up really, really well. So there's not going to be any deficit there. Now, James has been talking about this 30 kilogram tube. He's been saying that he wants to break the 300 mark or get as close to 300 as he can. And I can speak from experience. For long cycle, when this belt gets heavy, 300 reps is a mammoth task. So if he gets close to it, a little there, but he's fine. If he gets close to it, he's going to have a good show for him. I can't remember what reps he's done on 24s and 28s, and he's pretty much on 11 reps a minute as a solid, which is going to do him some favors when you get 20 minutes in. And again, yeah, you're right, Jenny. It's a nice, he's finding his elbow into his hip nicely. He's got a lovely second dip, and he's driving that fixation up nice. So
he's wearing quite a slippy, nylon-y looking vest here, which interests me. And he hasn't done the wet patches that we were talking about that Rich had done earlier.
And the other thing as well is,
see if his elbow stays.
On a half-hour set, I'm not sure. I've done this before in half snatch, but on a half-hour set, do you want to be in a vest or do you want to be in a cotton t-shirt? Because when your arm starts to sweat, you've got 30 kilograms in between your bicep and basically a puddle of water, and that's when you need to rest, and then you're struggling to rest the rack because it's slipping. That can really be a factor. And he says he doesn't chalk. He's got no chalk on the handle, no chalk on the belt, and that's a relatively new. That those 30s are they're about a year old. So even here, where bells do get their rust because we're an outdoor gym, but it's a very, having personally used it, it's a very, very shiny bell. So I think we're going to get a few halfway itches with sweat, and he might have to start chalking.
And I'm interested, Gayna's got her shoulders chalked to catch that bell on the way
shoulder,
down.
on the bicep.
Not James.
I mean, this for Gayna, as long as her back doesn't play, this for Gayna is literally going to be a walk in the park at that bell weight. She's so confident, she's not phased, and also she's going to want to prove to herself that she can do this at this speed again and not have any issues in the back. And we get to a big milestone here. So we're coming to 5 minutes, and both of them well above 10 reps a minute. So Gayna's coming in at 66. He's going to be about 67, 68 and 5. And you've got James coming in at 55. So again, they're pretty much staying true. He's pretty much bang on 11 reps a minute here, which again, the more he takes it in the tank, the easier it's going to be for him to get that 300 mark, which is such a milestone for a long cycle lifter. This is a good sign. It's a good sign for another strong addition to the England team, because you're good on 32 kilograms. You're going to be competitive in the IKMFA. So this is a good sign for us here.
And James was saying his ambition is to get Master of Sport Elite, and then he'll move lifts. I don't know whether that means to doubles or something other than long cycle.
Sometimes it means to golf.
Not James. I think James is full addict now.
I think he really looks focused here. He's obviously gone away and really put the work in here. I mean, he had one of his athletes here was meant to come and lift. And sometimes when you become a coach as well, it really kind of cements your focus in the whole sport. So this is a really encouraging sign. His breathing, there's a little bit of a balance. It might be the platform. There's a little bit of a wobble on his hand change when he goes left to right, not when he goes right to left.
Yeah, I agree.
But the other thing that's really good, you can hear his breathing. It's a really, really pronounced, really forceful. This has been a good first start to him. And talking about a game of 10-minute sets, 3 10-minute sets, you're about to enter the deep water. You're about to enter the middle 10 minutes. It becomes, for anyone who's done this anyway, that's always the hardest part of it. A little bit of a shallow backswing, but from there.
And they're both wearing belts. Interestingly, James has got quite a low slung belt. Gayna's is quite high in the waist. I think we all have preferences, belt, no belt.
Well, Gayna only really started wearing a belt when her back started to give her issues with this. And when we're talking about Gayna, everyone wants to talk about how big a journey she's made. So she came to me purely with a weight loss journey as a PT client, and her weight loss journey has been incredible. And she's always happy to talk about it. But if you're ever looking at a role model for someone who can massively change your lifestyle, you've got to look no further than Gayna here, because she's done such a good job dropping the weight, such a good job keeping the weight down.
And I remember she did the Manchester Marathon last year.
She's run 2 marathons in the time she's been here. 2 hours super marathon lifts. After the super marathon lift, I don't think she had enough rest, because very quickly we went up to Scotland and she did something like 4 lifts in a row, and she did doubles on the relay. I think straight away after that she started getting the back trouble. But she's become such a good addition to the England team. She's become such a well celebrated lifter here. Yeah, you're really seeing a long cycle half marathon clinic going on with these two. James is really still looking confident, really looking good with the belt on top as well. Now he seems to be pretty much sharing it. Rest on top, rest in the rack, and then come back in and just get that breath ready and set. If that technique will hold out in the WKSF, and no worries as well with how strict they can be on the fixation in the rack. Yeah, I'm liking this, guys.
Looking good. I'm not worried. You know, you watch sometimes and you get anxious. I'm not at all anxious.
The only thing I ever kind of worry when I've got confidence like Gaynor with this is if she's hurting, she won't tell you, and you never see it in her face. Rep wise, again,
fast, maybe.
Going.
Meet max reps, isn't she?
She's averaging just under max reps. She's averaging 13.8 a minute. And James, this is such a good scoring system here. James is just dropped under 11 a minute. So James is now at 10.6. So he's going to have some room, because the whole first 10 minutes has been above 10 reps a minute. So that middle 10 minutes, if it needs to drop to 9 reps a minute or 8 reps a minute, he's got room in the tank for it. And the last 10, you can kind of go all out. But Gaynor here at just under maximum reps the whole way through at 13.8.
It's interesting, they're both wearing wrist guards. No big surprise there. Gaynor's got the kettle guards and James has got
It looks like he's
something
got
of his own.
bespoke one. So again, internationally, he needs to get used to the standards for each one he enters.
But interestingly, the amount he's using them to wipe his face as much as to protect his wrist. Is
this is one thing that not all girls and not every guy will get. But when you shaved heads, there's nowhere for the sweat to hide. So that's going to come down his face, and it's going to get in his eyebrows. It's going to get in his eyes. And
I was saying earlier, I just don't understand why people don't join the headband club.
It can sometimes when your head. I've had it in other sports, and it can start to bother you. It can start to itch. It can start to get in the way.
Yeah.
But there's nothing worse than getting sweat in your eyes when you're going through it.
And because I wear contact lenses, it's just a disaster if I get sweat in my eyes. So for me, a headband, anything over 10 minutes, even military snatch, which is 12 minutes, the headband's going on, and it's the only one headband that is just the right size, not heavy, light, thin cotton.
I think military snatch, now you mention it, I think it's going to be a real, really popular event. I think people have really jumped to it. Yeah. It's fast, it's dynamic, it's only 12 minutes, you get some really exciting finishes. If you remember Deb's gold medal where she won it by a rep.
I remember in Corfu.
But you on 30-minute sets, it's very rare that you really get a real close battle.
Yes.
I had to be working out the maths with me and Johnny Raven in Spain, but it really came down to the last 30-45 seconds. But that's the only time I've ever been in a dogfight for 30 minutes. Whereas on a 10-minute set and a 12-minute set, because of the duration, you tend to get much closer battles with it, and you tend to get these sprint finishes. Johnny Skinner and Miguel in Belgium, we had another really memorable one.
And it's interesting that a federation like IUKL, which is absolutely rooted in 10-minute GS lifts, has absolutely embraced military snatch, and much more than the half marathons, which they are kind of learning about and doing just because people will pay them.
But that's how a sport progresses. You learn what works, and inevitably you make some changes and adjustments. And every company affiliation has what they like to do and what they say is who they are. And the sport's still in its infancy, and there are going to need to be changes. So I think that's one thing that WKSF, IKMF and IUKL are starting to do, but certainly the IKMF, they'll be gutsy and they'll go out there and they'll make the changes. They'll bring in double pent, and everyone was dubious, and now a few years in, that's starting to attract good lifters. And you're starting to get good matchups. Same with World Games, and they're the only ones to embrace pentathlon, and that's been a success. But in the IUKL, it is good to see different lifters come in and be a success, and we're just starting to see now a bit of sweat coming. You see a bell with James, see how when it's landing, it's starting to have a little movement, and rep by rep now, from experience, I can tell you that's going to be a factor, because he's going to have to use his arms to balance that bell. That's the first one of the last 4 that's landed there, and that is going to be a sweat issue, and we're not halfway through yet, so it's going to start to become a factor here.
And this is just a hideous time in the 30
This is the darkest place, because you're not even halfway yet, but you're in that mid section. He's doing a great job. I mean, I can't believe he doesn't jork. That actual particular bell, the handle's a little bit thick, and it's still got that new
you
stick
can see the
to
sheen.
it. So that's a real good grip strength.
And of course, we go with whatever bells are at the competition. So
It is a good thing, yeah. I mean,
I have my favourite bells, but I know I have to lift whatever is there when I get there, and that can be good, bad, and ugly.
that's where sometimes it is very good in your training sets to have a good collection of bells and have some old comp bells and some old square head bells, the old IKFF ones, but almost like a letterbox handle.
Yeah.
And you kind of really need to be able to suck it up, because you don't know what you get on the day. And you never, at the World Champs, you never get everything ideally how you want it.
And I tend to do that nearer the actual competition. So I'll do all my training and get my numbers, do my test sets with my own bells. And then once I'm confident and I know I'm going to make it and I'm qualified, then I might start playing around with bells. But I'm not a good player around with bells.
I like to very
like
randomly
my bells.
intersect into the sessions. I like to very randomly just say, right, you're doing it on this, particularly on doubles where it makes a huge impact on lifters. But so reps wise, Gainer's still 13.8. It's just been like you were talking about, Laura, and yours. It's been consistent off the bat, and ever so slightly, he's looking at a good position for getting 300 reps, because we've got 1 minute to halfway, and he's now at 10.3 a minute. And when you talk about the battle bell system, it's such good information for the coach and the lifter and the audience, because we can now see that he's done pretty much half the set at 10 reps or more. So he's going to come in just above 150 reps. He'll come in about 152, 153, which means that you can afford to slow down if you need to do it. And then you have the last 10 minutes coming up, the last half coming up, where you don't know what's going to happen. That wall can hit you, a hand can rip all of a sudden, you can have a bad hand change and pull you back. At this weight, anything can start to be a spanner in the works.
And we're just saying goodbye to one of the kettlebell family. Hannah Dyer McConnell has been back with her baby Harry.
Well, I think he's saying goodbye to one sock. We've got one sock missing down there, so we've got a wardrobe thing. So that's going to keep it for 10 minutes.
I remember Hannah, fantastic snatch lifter, getting pregnant, having a baby. Harry is here, and hopefully she'll be back lifting one day.
We talk about it. I mean, Hannah's taking time off for a High Rocks comp, and so we're coaching for that as they hit the halfway mark. But one of those things that Hannah really came into her own in the WKSF on that 500 rep set that I think really is going to stand as a marker for a long while to come. This is a standard there. With timing wise, she was just about to talk about getting on to 20 kilogram bells and 24 kilogram bells. She's in a good shape now, and we'll see what happens after High Rocks. But we'll regroup and kind of let her focus on that. And 2025 is a big pull because you've got some big comps lined up, and the lure of going to America is such a big. We know that's going to be such a big competition, and it should bring those names back. We can go far back as even conversations with Sarah Jarvis about coming back and training for it. Yeah, so it really is a big pull here. And James, now you can see visibly is getting hard. He's had a great first 15 minutes, and he's still coming out above 10 reps a minute. So short of things tanking very quickly, he is on set to break 300, and that puts him in a very good group for long cycle here. This is a great set.
This is a great set, and I assume he's okay because he could have a towel. There is nothing to stop him reaching for a towel, having a wingman pass a towel, get a towel off.
You've got Amy on hand there just to kind of help you. She's ready to do it.
So we're worried about his sweat. I don't think James is even bothered.
I don't think he is, but I
love his
don't
breathing
understand
pattern.
why it isn't. It would sure be bothering me. But his breathing pattern's great. And when you're seeing it hard breathing here, if you're watching this, it's not because the bell's hitting him that's making him breathe out.
No.
What he's doing is he's exhaling as the bell comes in, and it gets his diaphragm in a good place. It gets the bell in a good place. So this breath, boom, there, and you hear it there as the bell comes down, and then there as it lands. You're emptying the air out, so it's not going to thump. So he's doing that with a really good rhythm here, and it does set your rhythm for lifting. And this is great stuff.
There's plenty of coaches, Chris Gile being one, that would say your breathing dictates your pace. You breathe you lift at the pace you breathe. So as you get more
I
tired,
100%
you increase
agree
your
with that.
breathing.
And when your breathing goes to, when your breathing goes to chaos, it's the end of any comfort zone for you.
I don't know whether you noticed, but I feel I demonstrated that perfectly in my own jerk set just now, where I was fine for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then I really was not fine.
But you know it when your breathing's going. So the last 2 sets of the day are coming up here. So we've got a real good, interesting head-to-head off with Deb on 212s and Al on 224s. Both experienced and confident lifters, both going for a long cycle push press. So again, it's good to show different sides of the lifts. As Gaynor still matching 13.8 a minute, and James just keeping it above 10 a minute at 10.2. But if this continues, he's gonna hit 200 reps. Bang on 10 minutes to go, which means he's then going to be in this dogfight to get 10 reps a minute for the last 10 minutes. And he said he wants somewhere near 300. And when you know you're on pace for it, it becomes a real mental battle. How long can you keep the pace here? And it's going to be really fun to watch him fight this out as he gets closer and closer. He's going to come a little bit ahead now.
Yeah.
The room he's going to hit 200 at about 10:30.
I'm not sure he's ever done this before, so I think this is going to be a PB, whatever he does.
It's a good environment to do it in. Why not do it now?
Yeah.
Before you go and qualify. Is he going to York to do a set to qualify?
Yes.
And with that, what's he going to then try and do? Is he going to go try to Hungary for an hour?
He fancies Moldova.
Oh, okay. So again, he's in the right step to be a 30-minute set, but then he would have to do it with a 32 or 24.
Yeah.
You can't do the IKF coefficient.
No.
So this would be a good look to see how he's going to fare on the 32.
Yeah,
and
I think this is his
2 kilograms.
This is his stepping stone to 32.
Yeah. So here he comes, 195 on the reps. Gaynor still 13.8 at 265. Just absolute rock solid there by Gaynor. And for her, the last 10 minutes aren't going to phase her one bit. And James, this is what we want to see. Can just starting to dip here now. Now these 10 minutes are a real test of character.
I'd like him to lift his head a bit. His head is down when he's
starting to see that fatigue.
Overhead, that head is a bit. Get your head up, James. He looked at his right hand just now. I've only seen him do it once. I try not to look at my hands.
I don't think I'd have a right hand if I did this without chalk. I'd just be a stump.
I'm not seeing any blood, which is good.
Yeah. Well, you're not seeing anything on the bell either, and sometimes the chalk lets you see it because it's white. So sometimes on a chalk bell you can see the blood, which I know all too well. And he's still getting good fixation. He's a little bit quick at the top now. He's not as rock solid with it, but he's still doing a good job. We're just starting to really just about hit 10 reps a minute.
And so the eyes are closing. There's a lot of eyes closed.
This is going to be an interesting 10 minutes. I'm really rooting for him to finish off at this pace.
He's tough. He's going to do it.
Well, he's got time in the bank because he went off so quick at kind of like 11 a minute for the first 10 minutes. So he's got a little room to wriggle here. But this is a real gutsy lift. Nice and solid. Still breathing well. It's just obviously bothering him on a reclean, and it's obviously taking out of him on a pace. So if he gets another 2 reps in the next 15 seconds,
looking at the left hand
he's
now.
still on for 300 reps. And even if he doesn't make it, he said he wanted to be close, and he's definitely going to be close. But he's just about falling shy now. So the next 8 minutes, 9 minutes,
he's moving his fingers as if his grip is under strain.
Which you've got to understand, because again, you almost wanted to grab him 20 minutes ago and say chalk the bell. But you can't, once you picked it, the game's live and you can't do it.
But I think he's going to be able to have the presence of mind to change more frequently if he needs to. At this stage, it might be better to change every 2 or 3 reps.
He's just dropped under 10 reps a minute now. And if you have to change more frequently, it's going to be harder. You've got to work harder to keep. Now that's the first.
That's a bit quick
That's the first rep that's been that, and it's the first. I mean, he's got a good set of arms on him, so he should be fine with it. And sometimes that's for grip, and sometimes there's a lot of factors there. But
8 minutes to go.
He knows it because he's putting a big focus on that fixation now.
The single number on the screen is always exciting, but 8 is.
I mean, it's still like give it to. He's still at 9.9. He's only just under 10 reps a minute on his average. So you don't know what the last 2 minutes can give.
Looking at that.
But all of those things now, when there's only 8 minutes left, you don't have time for that. And that's his first no rep, I think, there. Laura's just given him. But you don't have time to look. You don't have time to go out of your zone and your rhythm, which it is just starting to bring him out of now. And again, he's starting to slip a little bit low, but he's still holding out at a 9 rep average. That's not the speed he's doing now. That's taking the average throughout the whole of his set. So he's coming in at around 6-7 reps a minute now if you start looking at it. But that average now is bringing him in, saying he's going to come in just around 280. And as he starts to stop, as he starts to change more frequently, as he starts to have to adjust the bell, and there's no reps coming in, as again, that's another one that's just questionable on fixation.
Laura's having a good chat with him, though, which is great. That's what you want from your judge.
She's not going to be a harsh judge. She's experienced, but she's not going to give it to him. You've got to get the rep right. That's a good rep to come back on there. But yeah, he's just starting to have to manipulate as he re-cleans it.
Something about meeting the 5-minute mark that just gives me a little bit of a burst.
All he needs is one good song to come on that he likes, get a bit of rhythm going, and know that the end's in sight. As Gaina's only dropped her average by 0.10 of a rep, so she's now at 13.7, 323 reps. It might not be a PB for on that bell, but it's nice to know she can do the set. This is going to give her a lot of confidence going into whether she goes up to York and qualifies. She said she's going to Hungary, whether she can lift or not, but this has got to be making her feel good about it. Now, I should be warming up for my lift, but I'm not going anywhere. I want to watch how I want to will him through the next 60 reps. It's still doable. It's still doable. Averaging 9.7. It's just that thing of how do you accelerate when you're struggling to keep a grip, and how do you accelerate when you're struggling to, fixation takes longer when everything's beaten up.
And he might be on plan B now, which is I'm going to do this time.
I'm going to survive the set. I mean, I know, for the first time I was lifting 32 kilogram bells and 30 kilogram bells, 237, 240 reps. That's a nice finishing set to lift at this weight. You can put the bell down now and you've got a good rep.
Yeah.
It's looking like he is going to struggle to keep his pace. It's looking like he is going to come in around 260, 270 reps, but he's had a cracking set. And again, this tests your character when you're going to fall a little bit shy of what you want, but you battle through it rep by rep. Every rep now is a bonus to come to 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's not loving it. That was quite a short hold, but probably there. And of course he can rest overhead, he can rest in rack as he's doing now. And he could stand there now for 5 minutes.
I mean, the other thing as well is, the other thing that can help is his first double swing.
That's a double swing.
So that's going to have to be a 1 no rep. But again, game plans and tactics become so hard to get when you're at this point of exhaustion. And obviously there's something wrong with that.
And he's looking at his hands.
He's obviously there. So now he's going to call for a little bit of chalk, which again there, really, white or water, really, this can help you because getting half water, having chalk, it does make you slow down a bit. So if your VO max is high enough, you can start to get a bit of recovery. But he's still pulling out 145. He's going to hit 150 with just under 4 minutes to go. 250 with just under 4 minutes to go. Yeah. So he's still going to pull in a good set. He's still going to put in a great number of reps here. The question for WKSF qualifier is what those extra 2 kilograms do per rep as you go in. But he's got time to go to the drawing board and kind of work out tactics. It's not that these 30 kilogram bells are not the best.
No. I think the first time I saw him lift, he might have done 22. So he's gone up a lot.
That's a huge.
And that's a year and a bit. Come on, James, a bit longer overhead than that.
It's so hard to do this. And again, Laura's going to, she's not wanting to no-rep him.
But
she's got to call what she sees. And
keep it up.
He's getting it there. Again, I don't know if that's grip or just cardio or tricep, but again, these are starting to come out as shallow reps here. He's going to have to turn into a survive mode here because either do 1 rep on your left and change back to your right is the only, and it helps you through this, but his right's still looking really good.
Yeah.
His right's still looking nice.
And sometimes your head is going, I'm not making what I thought, I hate it.
It can be hell on earth.
This is awful. Or you realise this is going to be a PB, I've never done it before, I'm just going to keep going. And sometimes you finish your set thinking I hated it, and then 10 minutes later you think,
loved it.
actually,
Yeah.
that was really good. And I'm
3
really
minutes to
hoping
go,
he'll be in that mode.
Gain is looking like she's going to break 400, which is a great of her. She's still at 13.7. Again, it's so good with this battle bell system because I can see exactly where she is in her average. At 9.46 now, but it's going to start to drop now because these minutes are slower reps. 9.47. It's going to come down. It's going to come down. He's going to end up on like the thing that everybody has to get here. And you'll agree with this. The difference going up in weight is very hard to appreciate until you do it. It saps the energy out of you.
Yeah, you'd have thought, what's the difference between 32 and 30? 2 kilograms, but actually it's
a different it's 2 kilograms per rep.
More like a 10% difference than a 0.1% difference.
And Gainer knows she can hit 400. She's got 400 in sight. I don't know what James' game plan is here. I don't know if he wants 270, just wants to survive and hold on for dear life here. I'd change hands.
I think he's holding on for dear life.
I'd do 2 reps and change here, and then get what you can get back on your other hand. Tactics tend to go out, and common sense tends to go out the window a little bit, and people either change too early or don't change early enough. He's not in danger of dropping the bell. He's had a real good show for himself. He's going to watch this back. When he's disappointed about not hitting 300 being close, he's going to watch this back and realise he's done a great job. It's tough.
Don't look at your hand, James. Just lift. Lift.
Puppy, it's fine.
So everybody's going 275. The crowd want him to get his numbers. 275 is very close to 300.
This will get him at 270. And there's no chance Gain is not going to break 400 here. There, he's in at 270. Last minute now, guys.
So
this
270 is 1 rep a minute off what he wanted.
Exactly,
which is fantastic.
And this again, talking about it, he was right to go off as quick as he did because you can almost anticipate hitting that hurt locker and having to slow down. And I thought it was going to come with the way he didn't chalk and the vest. I thought it would come closer than 20 minutes, but he really did. The first 20 minutes were an amazing level of lifting.
He's having a nice little sprint now.
Yeah, he's putting some back now. Can you get 280? And final seconds here. So 279. He might. I don't think it's going to get in there. It's going to be right on the buzz with us in, and he's locked it. He's done it. 281 and 409. And right, we've got the last 2 flights coming up, but I'm going to ghost you guys and get ready for my lifts. I'm going to leave you with Jenny and any victims she pulls aside.
Okay, welcome back. So we have a bit of a battle here. We have Debbie lifting 2 times 12 long cycle push press, and we have Al lifting 2 times 24 kilogram bells long cycle push press. This is a World Games lift, a 10-minute lift. And we're pitching this as a bit of a battle, as they're each going with different weights. Let's see who's gonna win out. At the moment, we've got Al on 6 and Debbie on 5. So this is a lift where your feet absolutely have to stay on the floor. Toes, heels, everything. No foot movement whatsoever. So the judges will be looking to make sure that the feet are still. And then you're using all of your lats, your back, every bit of arm and shoulder muscle you can engage to get that bell up. So you can dip the knees, but the feet must not leave the floor. So the better push you can get through the knees, the easier that bell's going to go up. So I'm pretty sure I've seen Al do this lift before. I've never seen Debbie do this lift before. And she's working her way up to double 16s, which would be the typical weight for her age and body weight. And her ambition is to lift that weight in Scotland when the IKMF World Championships come to Scotland. So she's got a good year and a bit, and she'll just keep going up the weights. I don't believe she's ever done 2 lots of 12 for 10 minutes before, but I think she's done double 10s, and she's just working her way up the weights. I'm pretty sure Al knows what he's doing with these 2 24s. But Al's got a lot going on. He's running the whole battle bell system that is filming, scoring, and allowing us to commentate. So that's a big responsibility, and it's never easy to do your best lift when you've got other things going on other than your lift. So I'm hoping Al is managing to really focus on his lift and rely on everything else. All the work he's done in getting the system set up, doing its thing, while he just enjoys his lift. If you can enjoy push pressing 2 24 kilogram bells.
Come on, Al. Come on, Dad.
So we call this a long cycle push press, and we call it that because there is the clean phase, like Zeb's is just doing, followed by the push press phase. So a long cycle push press. If it was just no clean, like Debs is just doing now, it would be a push press. So this is a long cycle push press. Plenty of people who specialise in jerk would hate this lift because the effort required to do the clean, particularly the 2 24s, is very cardio, and it's going to require a fair bit of grip as well. It's a really great test of both cardio and strength, the long cycle push press. So you can see Debbie chooses to use a belt just to give that bit of lower back support, particularly when she's in rack. She's probably leaning into it for a bit of comfort. Doesn't really give any lifting advantage, it's just stops your back from hurting perhaps quite as much. And some people are belt wearers and some people aren't. You perhaps noticed when Gaynor was lifting in her set just now, she actually had a wrist guard over the buckle mechanism on her belt. Because when your elbows are dropping down, particularly if you're doing a clean, there is a chance that your elbow is going to catch on the metalwork of your belt. So it's not unusual to see somebody put a wrist guard over that mechanism just to protect their elbows. So we're approaching the halfway point. I heard them set a challenge to Al, which was that his t-shirt would be dark blue by the time he's finished. You can see the sweat starting to build up in various places. How dark blue is that shirt going to be in the next 5 minutes? So at the halfway point then, we've got Al on 41, Deb on 34. Who's your money on? Is Al going to tire? Is Deb going to have a sprint? Deb looks calm, she looks confident. I don't think her t-shirt's going to be any darker. I don't think this is cardio challenge for Deb, it's probably just that effort to get the legs powering the bells up via the elbows into that static position at the top.
Over halfway now, come on guys. Come on guys, keep going. T-shirt's not dark enough yet, Al. Nowhere near. How the t-shirt's still like. It's not working hard enough.
So you can see that this is an exercise that does require leg strength as well. That little dip, that push through the knees is powering those bells up as well. I sense Al's legs are getting a bit of a shake on, and that's because he's really trying to use his quads as much as his upper body to get those bells up. Al has quite a bit of a higher rack position than Deb. Pros and cons. In some ways there's less far for the bells to go, but that elbow contact that Deb's getting with her hip bones can be quite supportive. And if you can link your legs into the push, it is going to help get a little bit of extra power up.
Come on guys.
Okay. So last 3 minutes, more than 2/3 done. They'll have targets in mind. They might set off with a minute, a reps per minute target, and then you see how it goes. And then you might have to come up with plan B depending on what goes on.
Yeah, floating percent again. Floating percent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3/4 done. And all the time you're commentating, you're counting how many reps, then you start playing with the second